business, or is that
right.
gone?
I wish I could see everybody at once.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to mute everyone for a quick second.
Oh, thank God.
I know, right? So I think Adam, you still. All right, so sorry for the mute. Sorry for this next part's a little overproduced. Obviously, thank you for coming. This is amazing seeing all these faces. You know, looking at everyone's profile, I was amazed at what people are still doing, what they're creating. So I just want to quickly, maybe for a minute, let's go by every single person. I'll call on you. Just say what you're up to, maybe a quick Clown College memory. We'll definitely get into banter, but I just want to get everyone their minute. I'm doing the mute only because when someone talks, it takes up the full screen and they can have it. So I got to start with my roommate, Eric. This is where we got to start. There's a piece of paper in the universe somewhere that says that we would make terrible roommates, just too much yin, too much yang. But Eric and I, we got along seamlessly. This is one just great guy. And we probably, Eric, I'm going to mute you. We probably have the best reunion story that either you could tell or I could tell after about in Alaska.
Dude, that was so crazy.
That's crazy. Actually, I'll tell it right now. So I'm traveling with the Reduced Shakespeare Company, and we're performing a new show. So we took it to Alaska because, you know, we don't get a lot of reviews out there. And I'm in Homer, Alaska. Now we're even in a small part of Alaska. And we do a radio interview, and someone says, yeah, the guy who does the classical music radio, you know, he went to Clown College. We're like, who is it? It's like Eric Joffrey. I'm like, what? And there was my roommate in Homer, Alaska. And we hung out for the entire week. So Eric, how are you? What are you up to? I hear you on Facebook putting together very spiritual, beautiful music. Like, what's going on?
Thanks. Hey, everyone. First off, it's fabulous to see everybody. I'm kind of overwhelmed. This is honestly my first Zoom call. So, what's up? Hey, Bill's here. What's up, Bill? What am I up to?
You're still performing, right? Here's your page right here. You're still doing a lot of stuff, aren't you? Oh,
that's what I'm up to. That's pretty much my whole life right now.
And you're doing, what's with the performance? You're doing a lot of still aerial stuff, correct?
Oh, you just put my my webpage up.
I did.
Yeah, I run the entertainment agency through the Philadelphia School of Circus Arts. So I get to work with just a huge cast of fabulous people, and you know, it's hard to. I miss it. We miss it. Everybody's freaking out. Like, when do we get to do this again?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But yeah, I'm doing a lot of wire walking, playing a lot of music, but mostly life is this one.
Congratulations. That's great. That's great.
She's 16 months and already walking on a wire.
Well, and quickly, what is that music you're doing? You're playing some. It's not the banjo. What is? Is it the banjo?
I've got a banjo. Yeah, I'm playing some banjo. I play a whole bunch of things.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. You look well. All right, so I'm going to stay on the dark side of the moon. And for those of you who are on the correct side of the villas, you know the dark side of the moon. And I'm going to go to Phil Bud Briggs, one of the cool guys on that, the guy I looked up to, Phil. And then LA, you know, it just fits right in. Phil, how are you? What's going on?
I'm good. My youngest son, Teddy, is here with me. He's 16. And I'm producing some live events in LA. I perform about twice a year now, and only when necessary. I produce shows for Disney to support the release of their films at premiere parties, and also at the theater they own in Hollywood, the El Capitan.
Are you still doing Jumbo Shrimp?
That's who I do all that from, yeah. My wife and I started a little circus performance company a long time ago. Heidi Karp was a Clown College '84 graduate and the best clown I've ever seen. And I was fortunate to work with her for a long time. And then we had kids, and she stepped back from it a lot, and I kept it going as more of an agency. I worked a lot doing solo shows and with a lot of people, but and then we started doing special events for things, and we do all sorts of, I don't know, as needed characters, themed characters for special events. It's great working in LA with really super talented people, both in performance and costuming. I also have a day job where I work as a set dresser and prop master on films and television. I'm the prop master on The Voice, and I work as a set dresser on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
All right.
And I've been working on a show until we shut down for the virus, called The Old Man, which will come out in the fall. It's an FX show. So I've been really busy and thankful that I was busy enough to have some money put aside for now.
That's great. Well, you look great. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Wonderful to see everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody looks great. And it's so, Matt, thank you so much for putting this together.
No, my pleasure. And I'm gonna stay with roommates right now, although I'll move down the villas at some point. And I gotta bring in Darren Cooper. Now, Darren, let me unmute you. We can talk about, Darren and I bonded pretty well in Japan. At one point there were only 4 or 5 of us and we became really tight, but I got to go back to clown college. It was you, me, Gina, and Sarah, lunch every day. And you had your hometown paper and you would read it to us. And literally, wasn't it like Grandma Johnson bought a pie and is giving it out to, and you would read us mail from, where did you grow up? Where was that?
Clarence, Missouri.
God bless Clarence, Missouri.
I think the population's down to like 800 now.
Gold Show member, also some extra time in Japan. What have you been up to or things going on? How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. I mean, I live in Las Vegas. I've been out of show business for, years now. I sell Grand Canyon tours, helicopter tours, bus tours, that kind of thing. And then I have another business that's kind of boring. It's an automotive business where we re-clear coat cars. We do about 80 cars a month, but
what's the name? If I can pull it up real fast.
Yeah, it's Restore FX. It's not. You won't see it on my website.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but for a while I was a living statue at the Paris Hotel. I worked with Robert Shields when he was clowning director on the Red Show for a season. He's taught me how to do statue and everything, so that was pretty cool. But that was the last I was in show business. Gosh, that's been like, I don't know, 10, 15 years.
Didn't you come pretty tight with Gunther's son? Didn't you guys become pretty close?
Yeah. I'm still close with them. Yeah.
What's his name?
Mark Oliver.
Yeah, Mark Oliver. Yeah. How was that? How's he doing? Or
Yeah, they're good. They have a wedding business in Florida, totally unshow business, but they're doing really good. I talk to them about every week.
Great, awesome.
Yeah. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, so I'll stick with you. Good to see you, Darren. So I mentioned the lunchroom. I'm going to jump it over to Gina. Gina, we had our little group. Great seeing you. I remember your athleticism paid off dividends. And we did that one bit with the table, and we each grabbed your leg and was spinning you around, and you're like, yeah, this is no problem. So you're still very active performing. How are you doing?
It was no problem when I kicked Jerry in the face and he ended up with a bloody nose.
Oh, tell that story.
You don't remember that at clown college?
No, I don't remember the bloody nose.
Yeah, Jerry was a super talented guy. Haven't heard from him in ages. I hope he's not dead.
He talked me and somebody into being on the high dive, and I was on the front, he was on the back, and he would do flips. I did that once, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that again. Very, very strong person.
Yeah, so he was a good guy.
So what are you up to performing-wise? You're still pretty active, aren't you?
I am. I'm holding on tight, hoping my summer season doesn't get totally destroyed. I'm very busy in the summer performing library shows, so I've just started getting calls about doing virtual shows. So if anyone in this list is super knowledgeable and active with YouTube and live stream, I have, as some of you can tell from me trying to get on today, this is my first Zoom meeting, and I'm very tech challenged. So, hey, I welcome any kind of input. My libraries are reaching out. They want virtual shows. So I'm going to give them what they want.
Sweet. That's awesome. Now I believe you, and I don't know if you are both doing it. I'm going to bring in Mike Rossman. Mike, I believe you're also, I think, Gina, you're doing a bin staff circus. Let me pull, if you guys can unmute yourselves as I call your name, but I'll try to find you. There you go, Michael.
I'm here.
Are you also doing I think on your Facebook page, you had the Bindlestaff circus. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did their first 2 out of 3. I was supposed to do the first and third, but they had a last minute cancellation. So the Bindle Stiffs, actually I met them at Motion Fest, and they do an open stage in New York City. And then they were, I think, one of the first groups to go live, you know, on these Zoom, Facebook, internet shows, performances. And so, Gina, I can definitely put you in touch with them, and they could probably help you out a little bit with some advice. Or they have, Keith has 2 people running tech for him, so he doesn't have to think about it. And I know those people.
And you've been pretty active. I mean, since Clown College, right? I've been
performing since.
Juggling, right? I mean, you did a lot of juggling too, right?
Everything. Yeah. So, when I do I do wire walking, like Eric, I was performing for years on the Renaissance Fair Market circuit. I did a tight wire over the audience wearing a kilt. And it was, you know, educational. And then I did, now my latest thing, and I've been doing comedy juggling shows with unicycling and wire whenever it's appropriate. And then I perform with my kids, sometimes with lovely assistants. And then I have, lately I've been doing speed painting, which is where I want to transition as I get a little bit older. And that's going good recently. It's picked up, and I'm having fun with that. And then I just recently picked up an old Ronald McDonald stage truck. So when I did Bindle Stiffs, I did tight wire off the roof of the truck. It's an old UPS truck with a stage on the side. And so I can, you know, as a generator, I can set up in 3 to 5 minutes, you know, stage, lights, sound, everything. So I do everything from hermit crab racing. I have a little company called Dumbwaiters. We're the stupidest cocktail servers in the world. And then I run circus camps for kids in the summer. I think this summer I probably won't do any, but I was supposed to do like 22 of them. And it'd be a lot better if there weren't kids involved, but it's still a lot of fun.
Now I see the axe is above the Clown College diploma. Is that in case of an emergency? Is that a stress reliever? Is that you're just going to beat the crap out of it? Is that why the axe is above there? Just in case you ever get.
No, those are actually souvenirs from performers who I've met and worked with. That's Bob Nickerson's axe. He does a whole god-awful pun show about axes. And
that's great. Well, good seeing you. Good job on all this stuff. So Aaron Tucker, whether you like it or not, the phrase, I think I've mentioned to you this before. When I think of you, I think of Clown College and that one line of that gag you had, I am Dr. Frankenhead and I am completely insane. I don't remember anything else about that bit, but that one line, and forever you are Dr. Frankenhead and you are insane. How are you?
That's lovely. I'm really good. And I'm in Japan now working on or I would be working on a circus if we were open. I've been here for about 6 years, and before that I was working at with the Big Apple Circus, the Clown Care Unit in Boston with Jay Stewart. And I was thinking that Gina, Jay is they're starting to do Zoom visits with kids in the hospitals, and he may have some idea about how to do that better. But right now I'm sitting on my thumb waiting for the shows to start again.
So I know you talked a little bit of it before it started, just quickly give us, you're in Japan, so how is it, like everywhere else, how's it going there?
Yeah, it's like everywhere else. They were a little slower than I would like to get on the ball about it. So it got a little scary where I thought I knew more than the government did about how to behave around a virus, but I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm mostly just scared and sitting in my room.
Yeah.
And I go out for groceries.
We in America feel the same way about our government.
Yeah. I figure. I feel it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, well, thanks for coming on. And Adam, actually unmute yourself. Let's just jump right into you. I know you're in New York. Again, you know, I hate to think of Clown College. I know we have a lot of memory in Clown College, but boy, that one thing that stands out, that marionette gag, right? I mean, that thing was that graduation marionette gag was phenomenal. So
that was old Jerry, and I felt guilty going on the road with it without him.
Who's it with? Remind me.
So Jerry wrote it, and he asked me to do it, and I think one of the reasons I got hired is because they weren't going to hire both of us, and he was generous enough to let me use the gig that he wrote and asked me to be in. I owe him big time.
Well, it certainly defined your character. I mean, and that's a character I still see with some black and white shoot that you did recently with that same makeup, or maybe not black and white, but this vintage, like almost museum type stuff. A photo shoot.
Oh my God, I don't even know. Oh yes. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. This top-notch fashion photographer was doing like this experimental thing for so they weren't black and white, but it was really weird and dark. And of course, I have no display for the computer here, but they were brilliant pictures. I'll see if I can at least get them up on the phone and show you guys.
Well, are they on your Facebook page while you talk? Are they anywhere?
You know, they might be someplace, but I don't know. And
all right, well, tell us what's going on in New York, and I'll see if I can find them real fast. So how are things
I'm in
going?
Westchester, so we're not in the thick of it, but my brother lives in Midtown, and you know, every night they're applauding our heroes are working in the hospitals. I haven't worked in the hospitals for 6 years, but I probably know a lot of people, a lot of those hospitals. For 25 years, I was a hospital entertainer, first with the Big Apple Circus and then with Making Headway. I missed that work dearly. And thankfully, when it ended was just because they closed my hospital and moved my doctors to Mount Sinai, which basically had bought Roosevelt. And in their infinite wisdom, Mount Sinai turned down my fully funded position. I'm not bitter. Life has been interesting since then. But all along, you know, I've been working on film from, you know, being a guy at the table to, you know, standing in for Robert Downey Jr. I'm in the movie Okja, which is Bong Joon-ho's film that he did right before Parasite. So if you don't blink, you'll hear me lauding the praises of the pig sausage. Spoiler alert, it's about a pig.
And I think this is, if I could be wrong, I think from watching the Academy Awards, is that him?
Oh my God, yes, that's me and him. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's, and this is after all the Academy Awards? This is after or before?
No, so this was at a screening of the movie Okja that I just happened to be at, where he was doing a Q&A. And I was like, all right, I worked with him. I got to make sure I get a picture with him.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
good. We'll be healthy. And if you find any of those pictures, let me know. I can always get
Sure,
you back.
you know,
They really are beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really proud of them. You know, he probably got whatever, you know. I'm just lucky, except I'm not working now, and I didn't save enough money for at least 6 months of a pandemic, which, you know, has always been my dream. So
yeah. That's great. So, so I'm going to bring in Scott Smith. Scott, I forget who your roommate was. I know you weren't on the dark side of the moon. I just unmuted you. And I do want to bring up, I know if everyone's, you know,
It was me.
this is, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. I do want to bring it up, and I kind of went ahead, and I've also dealt with loss. You've lost your wife Diane recently, so my condolences for your new normal on that. So I just wanted to bring her up as a positive memory. So how are you? How is everything? If that's a question I can ask.
That's fair. Yeah, my new normal is good. I'm living in the middle of Kentucky, literally the center. My city's name is Center, Kentucky. Population maybe 2,000 if you count all the pigs and the cows and everything. Loving the country life. Tried to semi-retire, but a neighbor put together a business, and I'm in charge of manufacturing. So doing that. After Clown College, I did about 10 years of advanced promotional work for the circus in the Salt Lake area. And then I did hospital work. I did about a closed circuit TV in a local hospital. And then I did a deal with the community nursing service where I do final parties for terminally ill kids. Try that one on size. That's tough. Very rewarding, but very tough. But I tell you what, seeing everybody's faces is unbelievable.
And who was your roommate in Clown College? Where were you
at?
Bob.
Bob, me and Bob and B. Ferroni.
Let me get Mr. Kelmer in here. Bob, can you
He would be alias Galaxy Note 8.
Thank you, because that is exactly where I'm hung up on. If you can't get it, all right, Bob, I'm gonna jump into you. I'll keep you to. I think Bob's having problems with his mic. All right, so where were you guys on the villas?
We were in the middle, just about the middle on the side towards the ocean. Bob, we can't hear you. What's going on?
All right, we'll get
There
back.
we go. We got him.
There we go.
Hey, there we are. Bunch of clones. Yeah.
So where were you? Go ahead.
We were in 15, I think, in the villas towards the beach.
Well, that was more than 24 hours ago, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Oh, you remembered Beefaroni, though.
I did, yes.
And how many years did we pass that back and forth for Christmas?
A few, yes.
Yeah, it was a few. The story behind that is a friend of mine gave me a case of Beefaroni when I went to clown college. And since Scott and I were roommates, we ate it all the way down to one can. And I thought we left the can in Florida. But Scott the next Christmas sent it to me. And then I sent it back, and it went on like that for years.
And Bob, so how we could jump into you? How are things going? You were gold. You ended up going to Japan for some time, didn't you?
Yeah, yep. I was with the gold unit. And after I came back, I did a show up in Canada. Off and on, I was with Culpeper for a while. Was at Circus World Museum up in Baraboo, 2006. Kind of got out of the circus biz, got more into the special effects makeup and stuff like that. Went to Six Flags, worked at Fright Fest as a makeup artist and scare actor. Continued with my Santa work, and then when Six Flags St. Louis decided to go to their holiday in the park, I was there producing Santa for 4 years there. I did 2 years up in your area at Macy's as Santa.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, the Macy's on State Street, Washington. So yeah, up in that area. And as you can see, I'm growing a beard now. It's the first time in 40 years that I've had a real Santa beard. So I'm working on it.
Nice. And I've had the luxury of seeing you at a couple of reunions. So it's good to see you. Yeah.
Last one in Baraboo, 2008. Didn't get to the last couple of them though.
All right, and if we have time at the end, we'll vote on you and Toto for the best beard. Okay, I'm gonna. By the way, if someone has to leave by any chance, I can move you up. So I am going to move to Joe Vecchiarelli. And Joe, can I see you here? Joe, someone else who's been very active clowning, and I believe was even with the circus for a while. Joe, how are you? What have you been up to?
Well, recently I've been working full time with Disney, doing
great.
The good HR, I guess you could say. So when I walk into a room, people aren't unhappy. They're actually happier when I'm in there because I'm the person who gives them all the cool opportunities to do things they normally wouldn't get to do, like stay in the castle or take a cruise, go to Hawaii for a week. So that's a lot of fun. So
Is this part of it right here that you have on your Facebook? Is that part of what you're doing?
No, that's a trip to Vegas that I took.
Oh, well then. Oh.
And this friend of mine in the center there, Steve, gave us a shot to go see the show. Trying to think if there's anything on it. Well, that's a trip to the Mickey picture was a trip to Paris that I took about 11 years ago before the girls went to college. But I'm kind of doing that now. I stopped performing, I would say full time, about 7 or 8 years ago. I did a lot of Renaissance Fair magic shows after leaving the circus, and decided to settle down and stay local to Orlando for a while.
That's great. Well, you look great. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to jump to Tom Williams. Tom, can you hear me or unmute yourself, or can I beat you to it?
Yeah.
Hello, Tom. I just, 18-year-old kid. Tom was like you were like, wow, that's the guy who's got it all together. That was you, Tom, in my eyes. So welcome.
My God. You're so wrong.
How old were you now? What age were you?
I was a whopping 21?
Wow.
21. So, geez. Yeah, I went on the road with Rossman and Joe Vecchiarelli, and Anybody else? No, it's just the three of us. Oh, Greg Long. Where's Greg?
Yeah, he's not. I saw he's not on here. I was looking for him, but I thought he was responded, but he's not on yet.
So we did that for a very scary year. And I think that scared me out of performing almost entirely. No, it did actually. I screwed around for like 10 years and maybe 15. Didn't have a real job until I started going to work for an internet company around 98, 99, and just sort of hopped on from there to WorldCom and was part of the whole WorldCom debacle, or lost all my money in that. But I work for, I do cybersecurity for the government intelligence community now.
Right.
So I'm about as far away from performing as I possibly could be.
But you're healthy and life is good?
Oh no, everything's outstanding.
Right.
Holly and I adopted a little guy from Seoul in 2011. He'll be about 10 in about a month or so. So he keeps us very busy. When we should be grandparents, we are just plain old parents. And yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough trying to keep up with him because we couldn't see doing 2. We figured 2 would be way too much. So those of you thinking of having kids at this point, have 2. Have 2. They talk to one another. They actually keep each other busy. I should have remembered that, or at least learned that. Nobody told me.
Well, it's great to see you. I think you're one of the people I have not seen since Clown College. I'm thrilled that get to see your face again. So
no, likewise. It's awesome to see everybody. I could see everybody. I can see everybody in their faces, regardless of what they look like now.
Isn't it crazy? It just looks like yesterday. It just seems like yesterday. I'm going to jump, although it says Brad. Beth, are you there?
I'm here.
How are you, Beth?
Doing well.
Boy, did you do the aerial, the trapeze? Were you part of that? I know you did a lot of physical stuff. I was always impressed how physically talented you were.
It's all about being a falls clown. That was pretty important to me.
Yeah.
But yes, I did some trapeze stuff too.
And
but so not in the graduation.
Right. Not right. Yeah. So how are things going? How is life?
Life is grand. Life is grand. Did a couple years or so of promotional work for Ringling, and then I'm just trying to think. I haven't done a lot of performing since then, but I did, just in this conversation, remember visiting Tommy and Rossman on the Clyde Beatty show, and Tommy had pink eye. And on a 10-minute notice, they told me to put on my makeup. They dressed me and they threw me out in the ring with Rossman for a ring gag. Right?
Yeah, Tom and Rod, you guys can unmute yourselves on that one. That's if Tom, if you want to.
And as I recall correctly, it was a haircut gag, and Rossman shaved my legs and my armpits. Thank you very much. And because you can't do that much with a white face. And then it was the shirt gag, and I lost the wig in the shirt, I think, so I came up bald too early, right? Something horrible like that. My nose flew, who knows? It was a mess, but hey, it was great.
There were just a lot of rules at Clyde Beatty, and me and Tom just ignored all of them.
It's true.
We just did whatever we thought would be best and said, we'll just deal with the consequences later. And so we got stuff. We got people like that in the show.
And Jimmy James offered me a contract at the end of the show.
Yes.
Yep. So that was pretty funny.
Too funny.
That was pretty funny. And I also did a washerwoman gag with Hillbilly at a circus camp in the summer in Vermont. I don't know, a bazillion years ago. So.
Well, great. Thanks for showing up. Everyone looks great. So I'm just going to repeat myself. So thank you for joining.
Happy to be here.
Andrew, can I pull you up? Andrew Weibel. Andrew, you have to remind me where you were. I don't remember where you were on the villas. Can you hear me? Is Andrew there? Okay. Andrew, how about now? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. I was backside, away from the ocean, second floor. Roomed with Andy. So there's two of us together.
Yeah, Martello. Is that Andy
Yes.
Martello? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you. Were you? What kind of clown were you? White Fast and Goose. I remember you had clean makeup. I remember people said you had, your makeup was very. What was your makeup?
A goose. Like 3/4 bald, blue hair. But yeah, so after Ringling, I moved back to LA. Started doing some contract work as I started college. Transferred to the Midwest, graduated from Ohio State, then went on the Ren Fair circuit for a number of years as part of a two-man comedy juggling. Kind of went from that into the crafting end, went into costuming, and then went into festival management for a little while. But for the last 20 years, I've been teaching in a large urban school district. I'm an art teacher. Working with the English language learners in our district, which is a huge population. And next month, I will be finishing up my MFA in painting with the Savannah College of Art and Design. So due to this crazy virus, I'll be doing a virtual exhibit. So I'll be posting my invite everywhere. So expect to see it in
I think I remember, if I may, I think I saw a ton of art on your Facebook, if I can go there now.
Yeah, it's pretty
correct?
much a dump from, yeah. So that one I finished at 3 this morning.
Actually, let me just, if I go to photos, I'll see them faster, right?
Yeah. A lot of just process shots and stuff. Let's see.
Or do you have your art, or is that the?
I don't know why. No, I guess it's coming as an Instagram feed, so it's not a direct post. So I don't
Gotcha.
know
All right. Well, I'll just go back to your timeline. Anyway,
let's see. I do a lot of scenic design and construction for theaters in the area. Worked with the Shakespeare in the Park here in Columbus, Ohio, the last couple of years. Taking a reprieve as I finish up my degree. I want one summer just to myself. That was a great one. I got a working fountain on stage. So.
Oh, that's great.
That was a lot of fun. But yeah, just kind of anything that I can get messy with, I'm kind of involved with. So.
That's great. That's just so great. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. All right, I'm going to jump to Mr. Bill Fortune. Bill, let me get you up here real fast. Or did you unmute me first?
I'm unmuted.
What is up, Bill? A man with broad shoulders, and I know because I had the luxury of standing on those shoulders. And now I try to get my girls on there. I'm like, no, I know how to do this. I had this guy who was really good about it. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Yep. Living in Brattleboro, Vermont. Not the circus mecca of the world, let me tell you that.
And I'm about to pull up BillFortune.com. This is you, right? With the picture of you, correct?
Maybe.
That's you?
Don't hold it against me.
Look at you.
Me, that was 20 years ago.
Look at you.
So yeah, many of you know, Gold Unit, Red Unit, went on to the Pickle Family Circus, then did Big Apple Circus Clown Care Unit for a really short period of time. Then the whole, the Reno Hilton, the Tahoe Hilton, the Atlantic City Hilton, doing circus shows, Cirque du Soleil as an acrobat, settled down in Vermont with my former wife. We started a circus school here, been performing, we created shows, toured North America with a show we created with a puppet theater company. So it was Circus Puppet Theater and theater. And we went to Norway, Spain, France, Switzerland with that show. It's pretty wild. Written, directed, produced short films, then did stunt work in LA and commuted from Brattleboro to LA to do the stunt work. Currently writing books and poetry, and also the summer camp director at Circus Smirkus.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's your focus on your writing and your poems? Any particular topic, or what do you kind of focus on?
Spirituality. So self, my first book of poetry was called Sacred and Sacrosanct, which was basically took an inward look at myself and poetry and nature and all through the lens of me, and then spent a year writing a poem a day and putting out his tweets, and compiled that into a book as well. And currently working on how anyone in the world could become a poet. So creating a book that gives poetry prompts and then goes through 365 days of writing poetry to hone the craft.
And that's something that's been in you for a while to get out. It's something recently you started being reflective about. Where did that quickly come from?
I went through a divorce.
And that was, let's put an exclamation mark for those of you who are doing the transcript. That was an exclamation mark. Got it.
I'm only kidding.
Scratch out exclamation mark and put smiley face.
No, it's been in me for a long time. I was really afraid of it. And actually the hospital clowning was like the thing that burst me open. To be able to perform or to be able to work without having to perform, to just show up and be, transformed everything that I do artistically from that point on. And it was just really magical to do the hospital clowning and to tap into self being, like, just being present was enough, and everything else cherry on the top of the sundae. So
great stuff. Where can we follow this? You keep posting on Facebook. Where do you?
I'm really terrible at marketing.
Bill.
Okay.
Plug.
Working on it.
All right.
No, you can find me I got my books on Amazon. You can check my Amazon author page at williamfortune.com, or Amazon author William Fortune. You can check it on my Facebook page. I got an Instagram, which is WFortune. My Twitter is at Actorbat, ACTORBAT, and yeah, whatever, all the social media. Look for Fortune.
That's great. Keep writing, Bill. Great seeing you. Good stuff. So Lori, I'm going to jump over to you. Hello, Lori. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hey, can I go ahead and share some of the clown pictures you have on Facebook recently? Is that okay?
No, I'm very shy about that.
I
Yes,
know.
please.
I just want to make sure. So how are you? What have you been up to? What's good in your life?
My goodness, those are distinctly different questions. Okay, so that's I joined a group of Jewish ministry clowns. They go to Jewish clowns who go to a nursing home once a month. And I think I'm invited because I'm the only one who knows how to twist balloons. Got a whole lot, no training, but a whole lot of heart. I love this group. And I'm gonna move away from my deep frying. Hang on. There you go. So, but in general, better pictures actually can be found on my business page. But what we're doing lately is counting the crickets.
Give me the business page while you're talking. I'll see if I can pull up what we're talking.
Sure. Look for it's at A Touch of Magic MN, and you'll see it on Facebook or Instagram. That's my handle for everything.
A Touch of Magic what?
MN, and you'll see a propeller hat for the logo.
Okay,
You'll
all
know
right.
it's the right thing.
So go ahead and.
Anyway, so what we're doing right now is watching our business crash and burn like everybody else. We do about 450 events a year. My husband and I perform, and then we have a team that we subcontract. So we do about 2/3 of the work. Right now, there you go. Right now, everything is canceling like the rest of you. But this is us. This is what we do. So it's still, we have set aside a little bit for a rainy day. I just wasn't expecting rains the likes of Noah. But we're using this opportunity to reinvent ourselves and think how could we do it differently. I've always likened my business to being on this treadmill. Do you guys remember George Jetson? And, get me off this crazy thing. And I've been thinking, gosh, it would be so great if I could just stop the treadmill long enough to really figure this out. And then I got what I wanted. So I went flying off the treadmill, but I can't say I miss the income. I miss the laughter. Oh, I miss that more than anything. But we're still here, and we're going to be here on the other side. And there you go. How's that for a long answer?
No, it'd be strong. We'll stay connected. I agree. We'll get through it. Great.
Matt, you're doing a great job. You're like the best radio talk show
I'm trying to
host
just keep it
on
interesting.
the planet. Anybody
Well,
agree?
well, no, it's all right. Thank you. Everyone's interesting. It's seriously, this is like, everyone's like uber interesting. So thank you though. Oh, you're back up. Oh, I think I lost you. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to Brian. I think I see Brian Wismer here. Brian, are you here?
I am here. Are you
there
here?
He is. Fellow Chicago guy. Now we're close. Where are you right now? I'm in Park Ridge. Where are you at?
I'm in Northbrook.
All right.
Lovely Northbrook, where there are no virus.
Yes. Is there none in Northbrook?
Yeah, we're virus-free in Northbrook.
Well, then open up your mall. I remember you at the audition at Clown College. I remember going there and going, oh, yeah, people like him get in. And then going to Clown College and you're like, yeah, he got in. So good seeing you. How are things going? What's new in your world?
Well, obviously the same as everyone else. Not as much as Mr. Bill Fortune, but having fun. And, this gives me a great opportunity to make some new changes and prepare some new stuff. So this is actually an awesome opportunity. It's all good.
What were you doing? What have you been doing? Anything I can pull up or just in general?
I'm at funwiz.com.
Okay.
I, like others, have a website that's merely a place to put information. It's not what I use to sell myself. That is going to change with this time off. I'm putting together a new website. But I do a lot of team building, game shows, wacky relays. That's all about movement and play.
What's kind of how's that team building? That's good stuff, right? The team
It's
building,
awesome.
interesting?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's working a lot with kids, with adults. I do a lot of school assemblies. It really is pushing people with movement and play. Teaching clowning, teaching balance coordination. By morning, I'm a sports therapist, so I still do a lot of that work. But I've combined the love of clowning and sports therapy, and hey, I get to play for a living just like the rest of us. It's awesome.
That's great. Well, it's good. It's good seeing you. I tried to pull that up. I'm sorry, I did not. But what was the name?
Can't. That's why I'm still in a little office like this.
Oh, it was a test. All right, great. Now, did I see? I'm going to jump over. Is Barbara Vogelsing here? Barbara, did you get in? Let's see if I can.
Yes, I'm in.
Hey, Barbara, how are you? It's good to see you.
I'm bored.
Well, be on board with us. So it's great to see you. It's funny. I didn't, being in Clown College, not knowing the history. And I remember talking to you for a while. Me, you, and Darren and Perrin were pretty tight. And, your insecurities about, your husband being on, and I knew none of that. And I thought you were such a good clown, without any of the things. So it's great seeing you again. How are things going? What's new?
Well, I've had to cancel all the shows I was directing, so that's sad.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, the kids are taking it well, the parents not so much, but that's the way it goes in high school theater.
What are you teaching? What are you doing? What specifically kind of shows are you doing for high school?
Well, I do two things. I direct at a school, so this year we were doing High School Musical. And I costume for a youth theater. And so Mary Poppins got canceled, and that was sad. And then I teach playwriting for a theater, and I go into public schools for 8 weeks, and I teach elementary and middle school kids who are usually under the poverty line, or English is their second language. And I teach them to write a play in 8 weeks, and each kid writes a play. And then with the board of directors, they choose about 8 plays out of the 200 that might get written. And we professionally produce them at a university and have this big gala night for young playwrights. And it's really cool. So we're trying to do that online now. And we're filming it over Zoom instead of doing it live. So that's a new challenge.
That's my wheelhouse right now. 3 girls in high school, and I'm amazed. 2 of them in theater. Matilda was just canceled, but they've done some other, plays. I'm amazed at the level of skill in high school and how much they absorb. It's just really, it's just absolutely fascinating to see how smart they are at that age.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. I have one daughter who's in college for musical theater, a son who will be starting college in the fall for musical theater. My older daughter is a dancer in New York City, and my oldest is a pilot. We don't know what happened there, but
there's time.
So, and Jim is teaching special ed, so he's online with his kids. So.
Great. Well, I'm so glad you're able to make it. I thought I saw that you weren't going to be here, so I'm so glad to see you. And keep up the good work. All right, I'm going to move to, is Lee here? Is Lee Jarrett here? Lee is here. Hello, Lee.
Hi, everyone. How are you tonight? I'm so happy to.
I've had the fortune of seeing you a couple times at summer reunions. It's always good to see you. I remember at Clown College, didn't you cook some kind of dinner for?
Yeah, we had an issue one time with Toto, and we invited Toto and Greg and Frosty over to the apartment. It just so happened we were doing too much, I guess, that day, and we didn't get out in time to properly prepare, but ended up rushing a chicken gumbo that burnt and scorched.
That's what it was. That's why I remember, because it burnt.
It was a chicken gumbo that came over. And we had a lot of folks over at the apartment that night. And
hey, stop touching your screen. Stop that. It
was a great time. Sorry about that. I had to. But yeah, we had a lot of folks over at the apartment that night, and we're the talk of the college class anyway. I think on that going on.
You blame me for that burnt gumbo, brother. That was all me, man. I'm sorry.
I don't know, but we had some like pizza rolls or something for an appetizer, and so we ended up okay.
We did. We played guitar for you, man. Hot shot.
That's great. So what else you been up to, Lee? What else going on?
Right after Clown College, I did a little bit of stuff for a couple of years with the show, advanced work in public relations stuff, to stores in New Jersey and Virginia, and being close to DC, I was able to do a lot of the PR stuff that was going on with the show, which is great. Got married, have 4 kids, 3 adopted, one biologically, and they are all keeping us busy. Been involved a little bit with theater and producing some short films and some films, and that's kind of what's been going on with me. I went back to school to get an accounting degree, so this is my CPA tax time, although everything's gotten shifted back a couple of months on due dates, but yeah, this is my time of year to focus on that too.
That's great. A lot of adopted kids in this. That's so phenomenal. That's so phenomenal. Lee, you look great. Thanks for joining. I'm going to quickly jump to, is Simon here? Simon, did I see Simon in here? Simon, are you there?
Yeah, no, I'm there.
Simon, we are not Facebook friends, so I really could not. So you're going to have to fill me in on what you've been up to, because I wasn't able to do any research.
I am just insanely boring, and there's a very good reason for that. Why would you know?
So if you could just sit and not say anything, and then we'll just live up to the boring part. Yeah.
I am a pretentious intellectual. I am a professor. I have a PhD and a couple of master's degrees. I run an honors program at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, where I spend most of my time trying to make incredibly bright people do really, really silly things. We throw a great deal of candy at each other. I never tell them I went to Clown College, because it is much, much more fun to let that circulate as a rumor. And then someone in the entering class will say, Dr. Hawkins, I heard you went to Clown College. Is that true? I go, yes, it is. And if they are very good, and I do not do this always, if they are very good, on the last day of class, I will teach them how to run into a wall. And I will teach them how to fall and do all sorts of very strange things like that. I am known as the weird one. I mean, I got no other term for it, right? My job is to cultivate strange, weird people and make them feel at home. So yeah, I put myself through graduate school at least partially by doing birthday parties, which actually was really cool, because I saw the homes inside the homes, more people in Washington, D.C. Than anyone else ever has. I was in the projects where little kids would say, "It's Homie the Clown, dance Homie." I said, "Homie, don't play that." And I go, "Whoa!" And I went to mansions and Embassy Row, and I got into absolutely everywhere, because if you're a clown, you can do whatever you like and you can go anywhere. But I grew my beard, so I never had to put on face paint again because I knew people would ask me to put it on, and I'm just going to do it over and over again. But yeah,
that's great.
Me.
The absolute opposite of boring. Great to see. That's some good stuff. Good. That's really good. All right, we're moving over to Stephen. Can I unmute you? Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
Hey,
can
how
you
are
hear
you?
me?
I can hear you. Hey, can I now?
Good. Yeah.
Are you? I see some. Is that you playing music on Facebook? Can I share that? Is that something? Is that you?
Yeah. I've been doing some open mics, writing original songs. I try to make my songs funny. My grandkids I just put a video out with my grandkids, and I wrote this before this pandemic, but it was about toilet paper, called "Single Ply Can Get You By," and anyway, we did a fun video on it. I live not too far from Venice, Florida. I originally was living in North Carolina when I came to Clown College, and then I ended up moving back to Venice, and I've been in this area for since 1993. And I did birthday party clowning for a long time, and then but I've always had a full-time job besides clowning. Clowning was always kind of a sideline thing, but I still do it a little bit. Every now and then I still do it. I only got to go to one reunion, which was the one in Sarasota in 2013, I think it was. Simon Hawkins was my roommate in Clown College. We were on the dark side near you, Matt.
Oh, that's right. You guys were on towards the far end, right? Or were you?
Yeah, I think Granger and Bud were our next door neighbors.
Yes, and then you're the one after, right?
Next to them.
Because it was Danny Prada, then at the cool. That's great. Awesome.
Skip Jenkins says that somebody in his class measured all the rooms, and the one that me and Simon was in was the smallest room in all of Venice Villas, and I do believe that.
That's great. Oh, wait. I'm gonna you. Hold on. I want to hear it. Hold on. Let me go ahead. Say that again.
I have 3 grandkids now. You probably heard some of them in the background. The couple were poking their heads in here, but they're one just turned 6, 5, and 3, or one's turning 5 soon. So it's a pretty busy household. They live here with me and my wife. And my daughter lives here with us as well. So we got our hands full, but I'm hoping to teach them how to juggle. I've got them some juggling scarves and stuff. And my goal is I got one of them. I think I'll have juggling by 5. That's my goal. But
that's great.
Life is going pretty good. I'm in the medical field now. So I work in pain management as a medical assistant. So that's my full-time gig now, but it's good to see everybody.
Well, yes, and then so you know firsthand about the opioid crisis and pain management. That's a big deal right now, isn't it? Controlling pain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Yeah, it's a challenge every day.
Yeah, and that's great. We'll do some banter later. That's great. Congratulations, kids. All right, Lauren Muni. Lauren, are you around?
I'm here.
Hey, Lauren, how are you?
Fine.
Now, is this also you doing the silhouettes, or is that you?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I remember you didn't you do rope and all that too? Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, I did whip cracking and
yeah.
And I did that for so many years, and then eventually, the crash of 2008 took care of a lot of people's careers in 2008.
Yeah.
And then I became actually a health coach at that time.
Look at this, though. Look at this.
Yeah. So, in fact, I just came back from Australia. I was in Australia when everything started hitting even more. So I didn't even know if I'd be able to come back from Australia. I was there for the beginning of March, and then I came back just as they were shutting down flights going in and out of Australia and then the United States. So I've been cutting silhouettes for it's by the way, for the people who don't know, it's a historical skill. I go around the world cutting silhouettes, and I just actually private message Simon to tell him that I've been in Little Rock yearly now for years. So I was trying to, I wrote you, I sent a little chat to you. So actually I'm in a lot of cities. I'm in a lot of Ohio cities. I've been seeing Vecchiarelli for years in Ohio. I actually get around the country cutting silhouettes. So it's kind of like a performance to be able to interpret parts of history. And nobody knows I went to clown college because it confuses museum people. So now I'm on the board of a museums association, an International Museums Association. So bringing up things that they don't know about, they like it once they have respect for me, but if they hear about it in advance, they're you know, sometimes academics get a little judgy. Don't be surprised.
And it's great because it's never a one sentence. It's never, you know, I still get that. Hey, he was a clown. It's not, you don't just leave it at, oh, he was a clown with the Ringling Brothers. I mean, it's great because it just takes so much. So it's funny when it's introduced like that.
Well, not only that is every once in a while, I'll say something like, oh, and I did, you know, street performed in Europe before we had the internet, or I was Charlie Chaplin in China with some of you guys. So I've done this or that, and then they go, oh my God, you should write your life story. And I think of all of you and go, you should write your life story. We all have this life that nobody understands except for us.
All right, I will join me to the chorus. You should write your life story. So join me on that. So many fascinating things. Good to see you. Great stuff on everything you're doing. I am going to jump to easy. Eric Zander. Eric, if you can beat me to the, I know you're good at this, so beat me to the, oh, I beat you. Hello, Eric Zander.
I wasn't going to fight you on that. I have no idea about this technical stuff.
Oh, then I should have kept you muted.
Now, is it my turn? How much time do I get?
You get through. Oh, and now we're going to move to Hillbilly.
Wait a minute.
Now, you are the architect of the Western Gag. Is that correct in Clown College? Were you not the architect of the Western Gag?
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? First of all, yeah, I was. And I actually never saw it until 2 years ago when Stephen Copeland sent me a video of it. I've never, because that gag presentation that we did it in went so long they ran out of video. So then I never said that, but anyway, I finally saw it, and I was the best clown in the whole gag. You can ask Gina.
Oh yeah, no, there's yeah.
Anyway, it's funny. I was trying to do something once, and I needed some letters of recommendation. So I talked to DeSanto, and I talked to Toto, and I talked to oh, never mind, it's a guy who wasn't Ringling guy, but both DeSanto and Toto in this letter of recommendation mentioned the Western Gag. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that was 25 years ago. You can't think of anything I've done since then? Anyway, look, I've been taking notes. So give me a minute, all right?
All right. You want?
When I was at Clown College, we were sitting there, me and Larry and Rich, who you know as Dickie Truth, but the people in Clown College.
We'll get to him. We'll get to him.
So, is he on? Is he on too?
Yes, he should be.
How exciting is that? I didn't know. Oh, that's who Richard is. I was wondering.
I'm here. I've been looking at you the whole time. I've been doing special hobo signs to
Dickie,
you.
I had one rule.
You haven't seen anything.
I had one rule not to fight. And what did you jumping in? I had one rule for you. We talked about this.
I can't hold it in anymore.
All right, go ahead, you two.
No kidding.
Are we starting a free for all? Is this a free for all?
Wait a minute, that's two bone teeth.
We're two away. We're two away. Two more people away than a free for all.
Wait a minute, I told you I'm trying to do 10 minutes here, okay?
You don't have 10 minutes.
I'm down to 7.5. All right, so me and Larry and Dickie Truth, which everyone else in the whole room here calls Rich, we sat there. So what do you think you're going to do in 10 years? And I said, we didn't come here to get a career. And both of them said, I'm not going to be a clown in 10 years. Oh, no. And they weren't. Larry's a doctor. Rich did something in Europe. I haven't heard from him in 30 years. So, but I was like, I'm a clown. And I've been a clown since then, and I was sitting there in a field in Florida with June bugs flying all around, poking me in the eye, batting against the ground was all raggedy and scrabbly. We were on the Loomis Brothers circuit. It was like the shittiest field I ever been in, except for when I was on the Kelly Miller circus. And I thought about that, and I was like, that's right, I'm a clown. That's good. I ain't a doctor.
And this is you here, right? Is this current right here? Amusing and Amaze?
That's me and my wife, Amusing and Amaze Entertainment. That was when we were at the World Clown, the World Circus Summit. But we haven't posted anything on that in quite some time, so keep on looking.
I love the makeup.
But otherwise, that's good enough. That's my wife, Colinda. And then I started thinking, it's like, I think that me and Aaron Tucker are the only ones left who are circus clowns on the show. I mean, from our class. And I was trying to think really hard. And I was thinking, except for probably Eric Dodd. But besides that, maybe us. Let me look at my list here. Larry's a doctor. And Sarah's a doctor. And I just found out the son is a doctor. We got 3 doctors that came out of this class. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Me, I'm just a clown. I'll give you my rundown because you asked for it. I was on Ringling for almost 4 years. The gold show, the red show, and then the blue show. I married a showgirl, which I would say, if you ever in your life think about that, change your mind. We got divorced out in Las Vegas when I was at Circus for 10 years. Then we got remarried for, good God, I don't know why. Why would you get divorced, lose half of everything that you own, and when she comes back, that half is gone somewhere? What the hell happened to it? So then we were, let me just say, then I was in the circus. I was circus. I was Ronald McDonald for 14 years as well, which is the second most recognized character in the history of the world. And in my travels and all the things I've done, I've worked in different shows and on different places. I worked with Granger. He and I did a circus out in California for I think 4 years. I worked with Aaron Tucker when they only for a reunion show, but it was so nice that he asked me to do this suitcase gag with him. It was great. I worked with Gina over and over again. I always look forward to it. China and stuff like that. I work with Toto. Oh my God, Toto, Ron Toto Johnson. You know,
we'll get to him too.
I hope so. Toto and Granger are 2 of the people that I was that taught me so much by working with them, because I have a timing, I have a feeling. You know, when you're working, you got your, hey, what's going on? What's it? Come on over here. Who do you think you are, buddy? What do you do? And you forget that other people have timing as well. Try waiting for Granger to kick you in the ass when you're bent over. We did a piano gag, and he was supposed to kick me in the ass, and I did the bend over, and I was like, oh my God, I got to shave again. When's he going to kick me? I didn't. He has to do his wind up. But after a while, I realized he has timing as well. I have to work with his timing. And Toto and I did a show in China with another clown, and it was like this. You 3 guys are going to do a show together. It's got to be, 15 minutes or half an hour. Okay. I never met the other guy. Toto comes up, oh, I got 1 gag. Like, eat. So the 3 of us worked stuff out over the internet, and we got on the ground and we started working it. And at one point we were doing this thing, and I looked over at Toto, and I expected him to be standing there. But instead he was dancing around in a goofy manner, making his exit. I was like, I forgot. You have to let the other guys do what they're doing. So anyway, I'm just telling you.
That other guy was Kevin Brown from the class of '84, and he was a Blue Show guy. That was the 3rd guy in that show.
You know, I was going to say that, but you know how many people on this list have not been on the show, so they don't know Kevin Brown. Anyway, I also had a chance to, I guess you could call it work with Lauren. She was in China with us, and she was out in Vegas when I was out there. And Adam Auslander, I worked with him at a reunion too. See, that's the cool thing about going to these reunions is you get a chance to work with other people because there's a show and you can say, hey, you want to go do something? Yeah, let's go do something. But
and I do see you very active. I see a lot of photos. I definitely see you're definitely doing a lot of stuff.
Who?
You. I see you. You're always.
No, wait till I get to the finish. I'm almost there. Wait till I get to February 10th, 2020.
Oh, we're going. Okay, well, I'll write that down. February 10th.
Oh, by the way, young Matt Croak, you're very good at keeping being the host and the stuff like that. This is excellent. When I get to Chicago next year, I'm going to see if I can put you to work. But so Adam and I were going to do this hospital thing with the Monday family and other clowns, and I sat next to him on the bus, and I was in full makeup with all of I had an egg in my pocket and sponge balls and a little hand and stuff, and he was just sitting there in regular clothes, and he had his whole costume in a little tiny bag, and at the hospital, he knows so much what to do. He's like surgical with what he does. I didn't get to work with him because they were like, "You're just a clown. You go work in the lobby. We're going to bring these hospital clowns into the rooms." So I was working the lobby, and of course, I made everybody have the best day of their life, and and Adam just put on his glasses, put on his little hat. And went ahead and make a bunch of sick kids feel good. I've got to tell you. So those are the ones I've worked with since I've left the show, or since we met each other at Clown College.
That's great. No, that's great. Yeah, that's
well, that's not just the ones on the. Besides the ones I worked on with the circus, like
right.
I always think of Aaron and Soupbone as my partners. The two partners. If y'all remember the lumberjack gag that I did in Clown College.
Yes, I do actually.
I did it with Aaron, and I was so. We felt great about doing it. And then when I went to Japan, I did it with Soupbone. And then the three of us got together on the Red Show, and it was like, what do I do it with? So the three of us did it. And then they put it in the center ring. It was great. Let me look at my notes real quick.
Well, let me get, I got two more, and then we're going to open up to banter. So let me get the last two or three in here.
No.
All right, go ahead. We're on February 22nd now.
Give him the hook. Give him the hook.
Oh, I'm doing good, Bone. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm no longer a circus clown. On February 10th, I was unceremoniously retired by the Loomis Brothers Circus. That was our last show, and then he replaced me with a Mexican clown that had a whistle in his mouth and did the 4-chair routine. And I spent all of my career fighting for clowning. I'm with the World Clown Association, and the light clown makeup is like everyone's favorite thing to do, and no one wants to be a big brassy American style circus clown anymore. And I've been fighting for 30 years to keep it going. And my last show was February 10th, and now I work for the Census Bureau until the census is over. And then this was the year my wife and I were going to put together an entertainment company in my area, but you can't do that because there's no entertainment now. And yes, I did marry a clown from Canada. Her name is Colinda. She's a beautiful woman and an excellent clown. Don't marry a showgirl. Yeah. Okay.
Fight the good fight. No, that's good. No, thanks for that's very interesting. Fight the good fight on the clowning. I hear you. All right, we're going to jump to Hillbilly. Hillbilly, are you around?
Yes.
Hey, Hillbilly.
I gotta follow that.
You got to follow that.
Jeez Louise.
Blue Show clown, great character clown. What more can we say about you, Hillbilly?
That's it.
I think that's it. All right. All right, let's move to. How are you? What's up, Mike?
Good, man. I'm good. It's so good to see you and everyone else. This is like, wow.
Hey, roomie.
Hey, Bill Fortune, my roommate at Clown College. My God, it's good to see you, brother. Wow, it's been a few years.
Now, Mike, I've had the fortune of seeing you at a reunion, but what have you been up to? What's going on in your life?
Well, I'm in Orlando now. I've been in Orlando for 23 years now. Moved here as soon as I finished with the Ringling Show. And first couple of years I was here, I was a house painter. And I was trying to get my performing business up and running. So, but for first couple of years here, I painted houses. And then I got real lucky and scored this really sweet gig at a really nice 4-star hotel called the Gaylord Palms, where they were hiring a bunch of entertainers, and I got hired as a stilt walker. And I worked out there for 8 years. And then in 2010, they got rid of the entertainment department altogether. And then I decided, well, I'm going to start my own stilt walking business, because that's what I've been doing for the past 8 years. And that's when I started my Stilt Fun stilt walking business. And been doing that for the past 10 years up until a month ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And business is doing really good for me too. Last year was one of my best years ever. And the first quarter of this year, I was rocking it. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have another record year this year. And I was all excited. And then, of course, the stupid virus came. And like everyone else, I'm unemployed now. So.
Yeah, no, it's hard. We'll open it up to the chat. We'll find out what people are doing. I know we talked a little bit at another chat page. But you look great. Thank you for showing up. The stilts are great. I love stilts. Always impress me. All right, we are going to move to Dickie Truth. Dickie, can you unmute? Let's see. Oh,
Yeah,
Richard. All right.
I got something to say to Eric.
Well, I got to introduce you. I got to introduce you first. Dickie, you were class of '88. And
great introduction, Matt.
And you were
You're so good at this.
Wait, and
how did you learn
hold
this?
on.
Is it something you got from a book?
You were a clown. Is that correct?
Correct.
Hey, class of '88.
Correct.
All right, it's all you. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, great intro. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you for those sweet words.
I got
no,
nothing.
but I got something to say to EZ. It's like going to Catholic school, and you and Aaron are like the priests. You guys became the priests, and everybody else, we still got the clown in them. We still bring the clown everywhere we go. We may not be professional clowns, but we still got it with us, and we take it everywhere we go. I'm sure some of you others have done it too, are doing it too. I do it in my own way. I've been, after Clown College, I did the Red Show with some of you out there. And then after the Red Show, I lived in San Francisco for a little bit with Danny Parada. Were you in touch with Danny, Matt, at all?
No, I was given a link and I tried to reach out. There's no email, so I didn't text the number.
I mean, I've been trying to look for him since when was that? 89, 90. I don't know where he is, but anyway, he's in California. And then Matt and I did a circus in Italy. We did the Circo Americano together. And then we got fired from that, Matt.
Hey, real fast. So Rocco and Kelly, they went home and they approached us like a week later and said, we want to talk to you.
Well, the other two, I forget who else was there, but they had two other people with them who left earlier.
It was El Rios and I forget the other person. So they all left.
I don't remember.
But they left, and Toto and Kelly just went on
Jeff Schott.
Jeff Schott, thank you. They went on vacation, and they wanted to talk to us. They said, we want to talk to you guys in the morning. And me and you thought, oh, well, Rocco and Kelly are gone. They want us to write more stuff. So we wrote all this stuff. And we go walking into this guy who doesn't even speak English. We got our papers, and we're like, okay, we're going to. And he goes, you're fired. Go home. Hey, then we won't be.
Yeah, that was it. We didn't hold down the fort at all for those guys. Anyway, but then I went to, I knew some people living in Prague. I think this is what the Europe that EZ was talking about. I knew some people in Prague. I went from Italy to Prague, and I spent a long time there doing theater and using clowning and puppetry that I learned along the way there. And then met my wife there. We came back to New York. And now I'm working, in theater and film, trying to get by in New York. Also doing some day job work at NYU, which they've been very nice to me because they let me go and do my thing here and there. And then I come back. I've been working from home. I luckily still have a job. NYU has moved online, and I still have a job, but I've been working online with them for a long time, so it's not much of a difference for me being home doing this. But that's where I am.
That's great. That's the end of Clown College. That picture was, I saw you did a play the other day over Zoom. I was watching, so it was very
with the management company I'm with. Yeah.
Oh, it's good seeing you. All right. Now it does look like some people have been here since someone said, is Pat Cummings here? Is that correct? Is Pat in the house? Pat is in the house. Patrick, are you here?
Yeah.
Hello, Pat.
Oh, hi, everybody. Hi.
Hey, now is it folklore? Were you like a cameraman on like one of those fishing boat shows? Is that folklore, or is that, you did any camera work or anything, or no? Am I getting that totally wrong?
All I've done for the last 20 years is camera work. So I don't think, it's not folklore.
Oh, so you have. So were you on one of those reality shows with the fishing or something like that?
I was on 7 of those boats.
You were on the boats?
Starting in 2005. Yeah, I did 4 years of Deadliest Catch as a camera operator and a producer on the boat, and then did some lots of TV since then.
So not to be a stereotypical fan, what is it like being on one of those boats?
It's like being in jail with a chance of drowning to death.
No, not Clown College. I said one of those boats.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
You. Thank you.
So the boats.
And good night, everybody.
All right. It's like hours and hours of boredom. Like they're just, it's a factory job these guys are doing. But every once in a while, the weather kicks up and tries to kill everybody.
Wow.
And so, and then they take the weeks that you're out on the boat and they condense it to make it look like the weather's just always trying to kill everybody all the time. They edit out all the stuff where you are just kind of hanging out and like doing boat work, and it's pretty calm and it's a nice day. That doesn't make good TV, so they cut all that out.
How did you get into the camera work after Clown College? How did you get into that area?
I was doing, I was back in LA. I bumbled around Texas for a while with Chris Wilson, and then moved back to LA. I got married in Texas and got divorced for a little starter marriage.
Hey, Pat, tell the story about when you guys were in the cave in Greece.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Now.
Yeah. So, after leaving the show, after leaving the Blue Show, Chris Wilson and I traveled around quite a bit. Like, so we moved out to Texas and lived there for a little while. Oh, that was after. So we went over to Greece and traveled around and didn't have a lot of money. And we had this idea that we were going to street perform, but it always seemed really hostile to try to do that. The Gulf War had just kind of broken out. It was like 1990, 91. And so we just kind of like chilled and like, I ran out of money and ended up getting a job picking oranges and stuff. But we settled down in this little town that was deserted called Modela. And we found a cave and we lived there for about 3 months. We just camped there. And it was fantastic. There's like maybe 10, 15, 20 people total the whole time we were there. And then I ran out of money and had to get serious about getting a job. So I went and got a job at a hotel and saved enough money to fly myself back to LA, super broke, and moved back in with my parents at the age of 23, 22. But after I got divorced, I moved back to LA and I reconnected with Granger and Kevin Carr and Easy and a lot of the folks that were out in LA at the time. And had a real intention of getting back into acting and doing improv and stuff like that. But I had gotten some training in editing video, and I'd been working for this company that was doing like stunt rigs, like when they do like they used to like back in the they used to do all these shows that were like early 2000s that were like celebrity stuntmen, and they'd send like Dennis Rodman over a cliff in a car, attached to like a wire rig and stuff like that. And so we would rig the cameras on the car and on the Dennis Rodman, and on the wires and all that stuff, all the sort of motion, like crash camera type stuff. So I got into doing that.
And
then
Bill tells me that you got some awards for this stuff, right? You've won some awards.
I did, yeah. In 2009, we got an Emmy Award for the cinematography for Deadliest Catch.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Well,
it was huge. I know. It was so fun. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's great. Well, you look great. I'm so glad you were able to join. You came in late, right? Were you here in the beginning?
I was here in the beginning, and then I had to go away, and then now I'm back. It's great to see everybody. It's been happy 420. I feel like we should have like a virtual.
Oh my gosh!
Joint.
It took 25 people, 27 people to bring that up. And I believe Lisa, is Lisa here? Did Lisa join us too Lisa? Oh, let me try that again. Lisa.
Hello,
how are you?
I'm great. It's so nice to see everyone. You all look so fantastic.
Now, am I remembering wrong? Were you a white face or were you not a white face?
I was not a white face.
Right,
I was a goose.
And is this dancing I see? Is that a Facebook? Is that something you do for fun, or is dancing part of your life?
No, it was a big part of my life. I danced and taught and judged professionally on the country western and the swing circuits for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, until, I had to stop trying to keep up with the 20-year-olds. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I had a studio here in Los Angeles for 12 years. And it was a really neat thing. After I left dancing, I transitioned into being a massage therapist. So I've been doing that for a couple of years now. And, and now we're going through a situation where nobody wants to be touched.
Right. Yeah. But can that be billed through insurance? Is that a medical necessity for the massages you do? I mean, can that, or no, they're not looking at it like that.
It's difficult to do it that way because everything has to have billing codes.
Right.
And so I went a different direction. I work for Burke Williams, which is a 5-star spa, and, pampering and fun for everyone, and pretty neat. And the owners have been great. They're a privately owned company, and they've continued paying our health insurance and taking care of all of us through this. And we'll see what happens. But certainly my industry is one that's never going to be the same again.
Yeah. Well, no, hang in there. I mean, I think we're all in one way or the other going through that.
It's an adventure.
Yeah, it is. Great to see you. Okay, before I get to Toto and Steve Smith, did I leave out anybody? I think I'm crossing out names. Is there anybody, unmute yourself, who I've not gotten to other than Toto and Steve?
Granger.
No, did I miss Granger? Where is he?
Yeah, you missed
Granger.
Granger.
And Tom Hubert's
What
here
about
too.
Granger?
All right, so let me get to Granger and Tom's okay.
Tom Hubert's
All right,
here.
so Granger, you're up. I'm doing
Hubert
Granger.
Be on mute.
All right, Granger. No, hold on. Let me
See you all. Can you hear me?
I can. What's up, Granger?
Yeah, easy. I'm sorry I was so slow kicking your ass. I just was savoring the moment. It was just so nice. It was the perfect ass to kick.
Oh, and Granger, sorry, I hit something wrong. Hold on, Granger. Go ahead. Talk about ass kicking. You're back up.
Stop hitting things. But yeah, okay, where do I start? Well, I did the Blue Show for couple 3 years, 89, 90, and 91, and after that I went back to my hometown in Fort Worth, Texas. I got a job with a cable TV company doing local origination programming. I was bored out of my mind and hating life, and then my buddy Phil Briggs called me one day, said he was getting married out in Los Angeles, California. Went out there for the wedding, met a lot of people, said this is where I need to be. Moved out to LA, where I, well, my main gig was I played Stan Laurel at Universal Studios theme park. And meanwhile, gigging, I played with the fabulous novelty band on stilts, Lou Wow and the Poi Boys, which included Phil Briggs and Tuba Heatherton and a couple other really talented guys. Like I say, did some movies and television, nothing big. Then I got tired of LA scene, got married, moved back to Texas, and started a theater in a little town called Salado, Texas, about just north of Austin, and got divorced. Then kept running the theater for several more years. Ran it for 10 years total. It was great. We did a lot of good stuff, all comedy stuff, vaudeville type stuff, but then we got into doing like legitimate stage comedies as well. And then after a while though, that just became unsustainable. So closed it down, moved back to Fort Worth, and I'm here now. Got into medical clowning. I'm working with Laughter League along with Dick Monday. I love the hospital clowning. And I'm also involved in local theater, Hip Pocket Theater, which is great. They do all original stuff. It's an outdoor theater started by a bunch of hippies back in the 70s. And I'm writing a show for their next season, which is coming up if it happens. I'm writing a show, play about one of my childhood heroes who was a local kid show host here in Fort Worth and Dallas. His name went by the name of Icky Twerp. He was the one who introduced me to the Three Stooges and Warner Brothers cartoons, but he also did his slapstick comedy bits in between the cartoons. And his comedy mentor was Paul Jung, the Ringling producing clown. Very interesting story that I'm trying to adapt to the stage, but hopefully we'll have a season and we'll get to do it.
That's great. And I don't know if you heard, Greg, you got a shout out from Greg DeSanto the other day. So someone asked him he did a live chat. Someone asked him, who's a clown that could do the most with anything? And he's like, Granger can pick up anything and make it funny. So you got a little shout out there yesterday.
He said that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Wow. What was he drinking?
Yeah. Listen, I was like, what do you talk? I said the same thing. No, yeah. All right.
Thank you, Greg, wherever you are.
And then, so Tom, are you here? Did I hear that you're now in the house?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Now, this is a little bit cheating because we just saw each other last week on a Zoom. So I know that you did some.
Last week.
I did. So one of the things you did that I found fascinating was you have a captain's license, although things are slow right now. Is that correct?
More than slow, non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, it's the tourist trade. And I mentioned last week I was working with Ride the Ducks of Seattle. They went belly up. But even before that, I was looking at turning my own boat into a charter, and getting the upgrades to my captain's license took longer than I thought. So like last season was a non-starter for me. So I was looking forward to getting that going this year, and then this Corona thing hit. That is not my boat.
All right, moving on.
That one is significantly larger. I mean, no, that is my boat. Perfect. You got the right one.
That is it?
No. That one's 65 feet. Mine's 28. I don't know. Scroll up.
Oh, that's about.
If you go to one of my albums, it's halfway there.
Okay.
It's the name of the boat. So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen this year. I'm also working for another charter company, so even if I don't get my own boat out, the potential to work on other boats is there if we ever get the go-ahead. The company I'm working for mostly does lake charters around here, but our maritime industry is just getting kicked in the nuts right now. Our cruise season usually starts April 1st. They've canceled the first 2 sailings of the cruise ships that go from Seattle up to Alaska and all points west, whatever. So we're just on lockdown here. We don't really know what's going to happen. My other side gig is I'm a wedding officiant, and that strangely has opened up some opportunities. People that had marriage license in hand and were planning big weddings, you know, either imminently the last couple of weeks or even July, August, people from, you know, all around the country or whatever, their planes are getting canceled and all that stuff. So people are saying, fuck it, let's just get married now. And we do elopements. So it's like usually just me and the couple and a photographer, and we go out in the woods somewhere and keep it kind of small and private. So we're maintaining the social distancing. I'm doing the ceremonies with my mask on. I don't touch anybody. So that's bringing in a little bit of income, but other than that, not a whole lot.
When was the last time you put the makeup on?
Probably, I think it was 6 years ago. It came up
Really?
on my feeds. I did a couple advanced things. Yeah, that was the most recent right there. When's that? What's that say? 2012.
2012, yeah.
So yeah, 8 years ago. Wow. Or maybe there was one after that.
Man, I remember you and Paul DeBain doing. I think it was you and Paul DeBain doing Dead and Alive. I remember just watching you, and your physical is just such a good clown. And your makeup is just phenomenal.
Thanks. But yeah, Ruthie was putting together some advanced clowning for the Gold Unit down in Portland one year, and then up here in Seattle. And Laura Heitman put her in touch with me. She's like, well, you know, Tom Hubert's out in Seattle. So, you know, 25 years after the fact, I get a call from Ruthie like, oh, you want to do a little bit of clowning? If I can still get into my shit, yes, absolutely. So that was kind of cool. And, you know, we talk about keeping the torch going and all that. I can't think of any other job I've had where 25 years later, they call you out of the blue. You're like, hey, can you do a gig for us? I'm like, absolutely.
All right.
So yeah, that was the last time I did the clowning. Although I haven't done it maybe 3 years or so. I had a pretty long run as a drag queen as well, which was the same thing as clowning. It's just, you know, big shoes, same makeup.
Pays a little better, maybe.
It pays a lot better. took me a lot of places, but people are like, oh, did you do your own makeup? Where'd you learn how to do that? And I credit Ruthie. It's the exact same makeup. I still do the powder sock, like eyebrows up, eyebrows down, all of that. So
hey, Tom, I heard you were pretty big in that, and like you were like famous and really well known. Is that all true?
Well,
your own like TV show or something, your own cable show, or?
I had a cable access show that ran for a couple of years. I mean, this was, you know, back '96, like where you actually had to go to the public access station and sign out the equipment, and it was, you know, it was old school. But I did that.
But weren't you on Sally Jesse Raphael?
I was on Maury Povich.
Maury Povich.
That was in 2000. But it was the year that the Yankees played the Mets in the World Series. And I don't know shit about sports, but I remember that because New York was losing their minds that weekend.
That was 2000.
They flew me out. And yeah, so there's clips of that online somewhere. You can find it. My drag name was Glamazonia.
All right. Well, I got Adam photos to do. I'll see if I can search it up while we're doing this.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Great time.
Google search.
Yeah.
Facebook took down her page because she's not a real person, but I've got a public figure page off of my Facebook page.
Weak on their part. Great. Thanks for showing up. Good seeing you again 2 weeks in a row. You look great. All right. I'm going to get to Toto, and then I'm going to get to Steve. Toto.
Hey, everybody.
No introduction. How are you, Toto?
I'm good. Now, some of you I haven't seen since clown college, and some of you I've talked to yesterday. So there is everything in between. I'm still performing 35 years in, trying to perform. Well, nobody's performing right now, but I like to say I'm still 35 years full-time. Some's been more full-time than others. I did one more year after your class on Ringling on the Red Show, did the 89 season. which was actually my favorite of my 4 years on Ringling. And a large part of that was because of the incredible talent that came to the Red Show from your class. So kudos to my Red Show. Left Ringling because my then wife, Renee Coker, who was a classmate of mine at Clown College in '85, we had an offer from a circus in Sweden to headline their show, little one-ring mud show, wonderful show called Circus Olympia. We did that for 2 seasons. Between the 2 seasons, we worked at Carnival Plaza in Tokyo, Japan, and they also had an Osaka location. A lot of former Ringling folk had worked there. Left that, Renee started getting out of clowning, and ultimately, long story short, we divorced. I still love her to death, but it's just we went in 2 different directions. Worked a bunch of different gigs over the years, worked at Six Flags Over Georgia in a comedy stunt show, worked at Riverside Amusement Park in Agawam, Massachusetts, which is Six Flags New England now, produced a show called The Circus of Clowns. Worked a lot with a fellow named Brad Zupp. I know Beth Lawrence knows Brad Zupp quite well.
How's that, Toto? How does she know him that well?
Well, I think they may have gotten married or something.
What? Is she using his name?
I'm telling you. And Brad was a Red Show clown, class of '85 also. Worked a lot with Brad at Riverside Park, and then later at a Circus Casino property in Tunica, Mississippi. Worked there with former Ringling clowns Danny Devaney and Dana Nelson. We also had Randy Brake and Rob Zeiser come in. That's my Facebook page. You can see I still walk stilts, although I'm not walking 9-footers anymore. I'm now walking about 3 or 4 footers. That's me. And then all the way on the other side, you see me. That's my Professor Toto character. That's primarily what I do now. I did do the Ronald McDonald program in Eastern Iowa and Western Illinois for 22 years. Absolutely loved it. Loved my little market area. They also gave me a lot of time to go do my own clowning. Did a lot of those clown gigs that were going on in China. I've worked a lot in India. Really been blessed that way. But a couple of years ago, a buddy of mine started a group called Absolute Science here in Davenport, Iowa. So I've been working for him. We do science shows for kids. We do science workshops for kids. About a year ago, we started another division called Big Bang Bubbles. So we do bubble shows and bubble workshops. So that's primarily what I do now. It's not quite as full-time as what I'd like it to be. Our summers are normally slammed, like 7 days a week from the end of May till August. We're not sure what this year is going to be. We're getting cancellation. So we're filming all of our shows. We're going to have them online for the libraries that we serve. Matter of fact, I was filming today one of our 2 of our science shows. So just doing the do. I also work as a guest paraeducator for the Bettendorf, Iowa school system, working primarily with special needs kids in preschool. So a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and still having fun.
Yeah, Tony, you're working a lot too. I know it's hard. I know you're always looking for gigs, but boy, it's good. I see you getting gigs in China and stuff. So keep working, man. Keep
I was
trying.
in Wuhan when this all really kicked off. So don't blame me.
Well, fight the good fight. All right, we are going to end with Steve Smith. Now, I'm going to try something here, risky, Steve, but I want you to feel the love. So I'm going to unmute everybody while you talk. But so everyone let Steve talk. But Steve, you don't have to, no script, just everyone's unmuted. Steve Smith, how are you? Great to see you.
Hello, you delicious.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
I have to say, you collectively, you gave me the best birthday present ever. Do you remember 8/8/1988?
Yes.
Yes, my birthday. Best birthday I ever had. And
Cubs home opener.
Say what?
Cubs opener, first night game.
That was our first day of college.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing great. I feel like a tall man with a full head of hair. But I'm not going to talk about me. I want to talk about you. You can go to my Facebook page and find out all that nifty, shifty stuff. Here's the deal. As listening to you all, first of all, I'm so stinking proud of you all. And it doesn't matter if you're in this ridiculous business or you're not. There will always be a corner of your heart reserved for these times, these moments, this Clown College experience. This is a rare tribe of human beings, and an honor to be amongst you again. you know, it takes a long time to grow an old friend. And now that it's been 3+ decades since I've seen many of you, it is really like seeing you all over again for the first time. I remember that first day of Clown College with bubbles and balloons and those kind of memories are the things that you want to put in your memory bank, because you're going to make a withdrawal when you get to be my age anyway. And it will see you through some hard times. It really will. We've all, you know, seen so much in the past 32 years. We've celebrated, we've grieved, we've loved, we've not loved, but through it all, believe it or not, we've all been knocked down, but we're still getting back up again, and we're all still standing. Is that an amazing thing or not? The period of time, that short 10 weeks that we had together, was transformative, not just for you. The odd thing is that I got to do that for 10 years. So I had 10 of these enormously vivid and rich banks of memories. But the class of '88, and I could talk about every single one of you. Two things I wanted, what I heard tonight, I would like to pick up on. Adam Oslander came out here and he visited me. And we were going to go to lunch together. So 4 hours and 5 restaurants later, we finally found a place where he could eat. It was so nice to see you, Adam. And Gooch, every time I see a target of any kind, I think of you doing that zip line across the audience's head into the Rube Goldberg machine that we had for graduation. Stellar, absolutely stellar. It does not matter whether you're in this business or not. Some people are saying, I haven't done the clown thing in a long time. It doesn't matter. Whether you are putting the grease paint on, or you paint with watercolors or oil, whether your medium is puppetry or silhouettes, you are all the artists of being alive. Listen to your stories. Good Jesus God, it is stunning. And like I said, I'm honored to be among you once again. This time, right now, what's happening, believe me, this too shall pass. Don't let the bastards wear you down. Keep your chin up. We may be sheltered in place, but art cannot be quarantined. And on that, I think I'm going to shut up. I have believe it or not, I have a production meeting tonight. I've been curating a cabaret series out here for the last 5 years. This will be our 31st production, albeit much different than we're used to. We like you all, lost our jobs on April 1st, which I thought was, you know, kind of but we're doing a virtual cabaret this coming Saturday night. You can find out more about it, I think, on my Facebook page, but God knows I don't tend to it very often. But I want to tend to you and thank you so much for coming. Young Matt Croat, if I could reach through and give you a cyber hug and a big wet kiss, I would. This is just so stunningly wonderful. I think in the long run, you get the mayor back. What? Hello? Wait a minute. I got some effects. We got some bubbles. Yeah. You got some bubble stuff there. And a rubber chicken. Nice. I'm giving you all a big hug and a big kiss. And enjoy the rest of this night.
Love you, Steve Smith.
Love you,
Steve.
Love Steve.
You're awesome. All right, everyone. I'm keeping it open. Chat away. It's now open time. Chat.
Okay, I'll tell you something.
Great. Easiest topic. Here's a big surprise.
Such a little.
Gina, you're crazy. Crazy. Good God. Good God. Okay. I don't even know how to get out of this thing.
Whoa. Gina, are you taking a bubble bath?
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
That's rude.
All right.
I feel like Lawrence Welk in here.
I don't even know who that is. Who's playing that?
Isn't that music taking up all of our chat time?
It's worse than the kids.
Hey,
There you go.
hey, young Matt Krogh.
Krogh, who's
Yes. All right.
Young Matt Krogh.
Please mute that person.
Turn off your damn music.
I don't know who's doing the music, so I can't.
Where's the coming?
Hey, young Matt Krogh. Young Matt Krogh.
Yes, yes.
There's just one thing.
What?
We haven't heard about you and what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, let me shut my bubble machine.
That's the whole
shut your
reason
bubble
we
machine.
staged this call.
Shut your bubble machine.
That they call
This
it
is
now.
my bubble machine.
Okay, so
Jen, before you bore us to death, Matthew, thank you.
Yes.
Young Matt Krogh.
Fine. Things are good. Things are well.
Wait.
That's all right.
Wait. Hold on.
Right. Yes.
Hold on. Some people have not been in touch with you for many, many, many years. You know, you and I, we touch base every 10 years or so. And with all of my clown college friends, my circus friends, it feels like when we connect, like, you know, like I feel like I can connect very easily. And when I saw you in Baraboo, honestly, my heart broke for you because you just lost Lisa.
Not only that, didn't Haley, you took my oldest daughter, and this is how you found out. She was walking with you, and she's like, my mom just died. And we weren't even going to go because it was too early, but Reed Martin was going. And then you came to me, you're like, hey, Matt, just, you know, do you know your daughter? I'm like, yes. And then I broke the news. So just to catch everyone up. So after, quickly after clown college, I went to Japan. I went to Italy with Dickie and Rocco and Kelly, came home and then joined the Reduced Shakespeare Company. And it's not ironic because we were canceled. Dickie went to Prague for years. I ended up going with Reed Martin, who's a Red Show clown. And I did the Reduced Shakespeare Company for about 17 years. And then for like 6 weeks after my third daughter was born, I lost my wife to breast cancer. So that was in 2008. And I was getting ready to go on the road. So I had to stop touring. So after a 17-year career, it just ended. So, and obviously that wasn't the most important thing, right? But it's part of the loss. I mean, it just rips out the rug from under you for those who experienced loss. And I know many, people have. Go ahead, Gina.
And I just love that our clown family is close enough. You came there for support with your clown family. And that just felt really awesome that you knew you were still connected to everyone and you're living your best life. And it's nice to see that you have so much going on for you now. And you have, how many, like a gajillion children now?
Yeah. So, and you're right. And it was right after I did go to Baraboo. And like I said, I wasn't going to go. I'm glad I did, obviously, because it was great. You're right. It wasn't, the family helped. Yeah. So then about a year later, my three daughters were in this grief program called the Good Morning Program, but spelled MOUR, and which was weird that they did a pun on morning, but that seems weird. I'm not sure I get that. But anyway, they met three girls and they lost their father. So we were just talking about it. And then like a year later, there's this camp and I was talking to the mom and we were just talking about raising three girls and cancer and all that stuff. I lost my wife to breast cancer. She lost her husband to brain cancer. And about a year after that, we got married. We Brady Bunched it. So I now have 6 daughters from 18 down to 8. One of Cheryl's girls with special needs. And I now work, before I met her, I work in an autism center. A buddy of mine from high school, after Lisa passed away, he said, listen, we're starting an autism center. We need someone to build furniture, do this. I've been with this company for 10 years. I'm now the director of client relations. I get to do a podcast where I interview people who deal with the spectrum, parents, and help parents bridge the gap between therapists and them. And I live in Park Ridge, right outside Chicago, and raising 6 daughters. So yeah, that's it. That catches you up. So.
And
you wrote a book.
One last thing.
Yes.
People should go onto your Facebook page for Quarantine Comedy. Okay.
Yes, I've been doing. Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes. I've been
Fantastic stuff.
My daughter has a TikTok, and so she did this thing of a minute. And I'm like, I could teach people to juggle in a minute. And then it became like, what else can I teach everyone in a minute? So I started doing all these clown things in less than a minute. And then yes, Dickie, I wrote. I actually journaled to make it even more, whatever the word is, my wife's mother was passing away from cancer at the same time, and we moved in with her to help her. So I actually journaled during that time. So my 2008 was third daughter born in March, lost a mother-in-law in April, lost my wife in July. And years later, I took that journal and I pulled it like taffy, like Steve says, and I turned it into a memoir on Amazon. And I call it Yes And, right? And I talk about Clown College quite a bit. And I talk about Dick Monday. That was the first time I heard Yes And. So I have a bit in Clown College about how grief is like improv. You don't know what's coming. And you could say no, but that doesn't help. So yes, and I don't want it. I have it. What do I do with it? And I turned it into a memoir. It's a 9-month period from when Lisa was diagnosed until she passed away, and Molly was born, and her mom dies through the whole thing. So enough of that. But yeah, it's called Yes And. So good to see everybody. Wow. Good to see everybody.
Holy
Well, that was cheerful.
Yeah, right. So let's.
Thank you all.
Heartbreaking.
Gotta say bye.
Bye, Lori.
Bye, Lori.
Lori.
Let's do this again. I loved it. I needed it so much.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
She looks exactly the same.
Totally.
Yeah, she does. She looks great.
Hey, can I do it? Can I do a shameless plug here?
Yes.
One of my hobbies that's become, well, now that I can't perform, I'm hoping to turn more into a business. I build musical instruments out of repurposed items, particularly cigar box and old metal lunchbox ukuleles is my specialty, but I also dabble in various types of horns and flutes and things. So if any of you would like some kind of custom-made musical instrument, there's on my Facebook page, there's a photo gallery called Unique Ukes. You can look at some of the stuff I've done. So. Or if you don't, or you have friends who are musicians looking for, send them my way. So.
Gina plays the uke.
They're really cool. They're really cool. Really cool. I've been sharing
We
them.
will have to talk. I will need a guitar.
It's a good-looking dog you got.
Wow. Oh, those are awesome.
Those are amazing.
Yeah, no, I will need one at Granger.
Wow.
Thanks.
Darren Cooper, I miss you, man. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Man.
I think of you every time I smell somebody smoking a clove cigarette. You know what that's about?
No, tell me that. I just remember Head Rain. I remember the Head Rain thing.
That Japanese girl, Nami.
Yeah. Remember the Head Rain?
What was it? Oh.
Head Rain? We're messing around on the balcony and you're throwing water at me, and also some Japanese guys yelling, Head Rain! Head Rain! And you're like, Head Rain! Head Rain! Head Rain!
Yeah. That's a good year.
Man, it was a blast. And for those, Japan, the Clown College kind of fell apart while we were there. So Darren and I, we went weeks without working because they didn't know what to do with us.
Yeah, we went like 3-4 months without working.
Yeah.
We just go to the pachinko parlor every day.
Well, who's we?
Yeah.
You know, Shigemi and Kenichi had mentioned that they might be on this, but they didn't come in. I saw Shigemi a few years ago when I was in Japan, and she is she's working this doing wonderful stuff with a partner doing street performance. And from the guy that brought me to Japan with the Pleasure Family B in Nagoya, he said that Shinichi is like a huge, famous clown out there. I mean, maybe it was lost in translation. Aaron, you might be able to tell us.
Yeah, he's pretty famous, and Shigemi is working all the time. We see her all over the place.
He sent sorry, I'm glad you guys said that. He sent me a message and I didn't share it. So he couldn't, I asked for a video, but he just said this. This is for, he said he couldn't make it because he was working. And I said, can you send me a video to say hello? But he sent me this. So he unfortunately was working.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Yeah, I can't read it. I hope it's good.
Hello, everyone.
So talented at Clown College.
This is Shinichi. Let's do our best without too long for the virus. God bless you.
Oh.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll tell you a couple more things. Don't give me dead air. Wiz.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Easy.
The
Let me say it.
The World Clown Association is coming to Chicago, and Wiz, we want you as a featured performer.
How about that?
And let me just tell you one quick thing. my first day at Clown College. I was the last guy to show up at Clown College. I showed up like at I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. I drove down there by
Alphabetical.
myself. Maybe it was 11:30, and I walked down to my room, and I opened up the door, and there was Scott Smith, Larry Fortunato, Bob Kellner, and Rich Toth, and I looked at them all and said, Jesus, I hope that fat bastard's not my roommate. I was lucky.
Sounds like
he was my next door neighbor.
Okay, and now
classy, easy.
Hey, look,
And
it
now-
comes off the brain.
That was worth it.
Hey, Beth, how's your knee?
How's my what?
Your knee. Wasn't your knee like surgeries and stuff, right?
That was Katie. Katie had that. Where is she
Oh,
tonight?
you're right. Katie did
Oh
have
yeah,
knee.
Katie.
Yeah.
She said she was going to try to make it. I did reach out to her separate, and
Well-
she wasn't sure that she'd be able to make it. She said she'd try.
Well, also Beth, your brother and his 2 knees.
Ugh,
Oh, yeah.
Oy.
that's ugly.
He's
And a new hip.
5 knees, right?
2 new knees and a hip.
Oh, I might be thinking of your brother, because was it her skiing?
No,
thing
you were
or
thinking of Katie.
Okay, never mind.
Didn't Liz hurt her knees too or something? Do you think Liz has some accident?
Yep.
Now, Liz lives not all that far from me, and as we've tried to hook up several times, and we've just have never quite managed to do that. I saw her, gosh, before 2001. She and I got together at one point.
Recently, she had a bad bout of Lyme disease. But I
Lyme
think she's kind
disease.
of gotten past it, I think.
Yeah, she has. She became a triathlete, and she's gotten married, and she's super happy.
Look, can she still stick her fist in her mouth? That's what I
I'm
want to
sure
know.
she can do that. she did that the last time I saw her.
Tom
She
Williams,
did.
Tom Williams, weren't you on crutches in Clown College? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. I tore a ligament until Mr. Eric there decided to heal my ankle with prisms and crystals and like that. And you know the crazy thing about it? It actually worked.
I broke my tailbone at Clown College.
Who did?
I don't remember that.
I
How'd
was
that
on
happen?
somebody's back. Whose back was I on? And
Wasn't it the high dive with Jerry?
yes, I was on Jerry's back, and we did a flip into the water and hitting the water of the pool.
Ooh.
Broke my tailbone.
Ow.
And he brought me to the sports doctor, who said I could put my finger up your butt and re-break your tailbone, or you could deal with it. And I did not think of having a man.
It's a no-brainer.
So I felt like it took 15 years until the pain went away. Not kidding. And I just had to put my finger up.
And you couldn't 5 minutes of one finger.
That's what I thought about. I thought about for years.
Maybe you had soft, slender fingers.
And now we're gonna
Lauren,
think about
I know
it for
people
years.
who do that for free now.
Dickie, next time I come and visit you, remind me to break my tailbone.
It's okay. I'm a professional.
Hey, I have a
Can
question for
can
Lisa
I tell a
Faye.
story? Can I tell a story?
If you must.
Please, Gina.
Okay. First of all,
Stop you.
okay. First of all, Easy and Soup Bone, you fucking chuckle butts talking about showgirls. Okay. I'm
Wait a
gonna
minute.
tell you my I'm gonna tell you my showgirl story.
Oh.
Go ahead, Soup Bone. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm done. No.
That's your sweet attitude, John. Okay. So there I am at Clown College. You would think that I would have been practicing shit, having been in the circus for 2 years, right? So I'm a showgirl in the circus for 2 years, and I decide I want to be a clown. I don't practice shit. I get to Clown College, and I don't want to get onto the road. I just want to get into another circus, like Circus Fantasy at Disneyland. I'm like, that'd be a cool job. Or I can go to another country and be a clown. But then I get the bug, just like every other fool, right? I get the bug. I have to be on the red show or the blue show. And I start practicing. And I'm like, I'm not very funny, but I'll walk stilt and I'll ride a unicycle and I'll juggle. Well, my stilt walking is okay. My unicycling's for shit. And so is my juggling. And I'm in the back next to where the stilts are, and I'm practicing my juggle, and I'm sucking and sucking and sucking. And Tim Holst walks by, and Tim Holst says, "You know, there's still openings for showgirls."
Oh, do you know when
wait, I'm not done.
He told me that too.
Wait, so I hightail it to Steve Smith's office, crying, and Steve Smith, dude, Tim Holst out for that. And I would just like to finish by saying that all of the females I have seen in this group still look hot. Okay, that's it.
Thank you,
They're very
Gina.
kind.
I second that.
Then why are you only showing from the neck up, huh? What's going on here?
Tim Holst.
Look who's talking, Bill. Look who's talking.
Tim tried to talk me into being a showgirl too, and I was like, there is no way I'm getting weighed every 2 weeks.
Hey, it's not bad.
Wait.
You know, a quick story I want to throw out real quick.
Wade.
Oh. Yes, Wade. I like.
I had to weigh in every week.
It's not funny, but I'll never forget Tom's fall off of stilts. It lasted like 8 minutes of him like staggering around. I don't know if any of you were back there for that.
That was right. Wasn't Skippy Jenkins there? Because that was right after I left. I was so pissed off that I had to go back to the show literally like 3 days before graduation. What the hell was that?
Tom, it was like a giraffe. It was like a drunk giraffe, like falling down the steps.
I was
everywhere.
pivoting. I don't know what the fuck happened. I was like 2 steps away from the scaffolding, and somehow and it was like my first time off the mechanic.
And you were on like 4-footers or 5-footers, or they were big.
They were 8.
Okay, something big.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
And we were it was like dress rehearsal. We were doing our fireman thing. So I had
nobody's talking. This is
raincoat
crazy.
on, and Skippy was down there. And I just remember my arms are windmilling. I'm trying to like get myself back. And at one point I realized I'm going down. And he's up there. He's got his arms up. He's like, I got him. And he just kept running backwards. Like he sort of misjudged like how tall I was coming down.
The space,
I don't know.
the space that you were doing this in was like 30 foot square.
Yeah.
That was how big the space was.
And my arms went on either side of his head, and his arms went on either side of mine. We hit chests. And he went down. His head was like 3 inches from some cinder block. Like it would have cracked his skull open if he'd hit it. But he broke my fall. Thanks, Skippy.
Who broke that
and
ball?
Then he made me get right back up there.
Hey,
And
shut up,
do it again.
Matt.
Mike Rossman.
Hey, you, Mike. That's you. You broke the ball. The greatest ball.
What ball?
That's right.
The greatest show on earth one. Like
I know what globe.
All right.
I was told to get on it.
Hey, I want to clarify something. Talking about stilt falls. Was it Lisa Faye that I caught?
It was.
Your foot came out of the foot plate, didn't it?
Yeah, the strap came loose on my leg.
And Larry Fortunato was supposed to be spotting with me, and you fell, and thankfully it was you and not Bob Kelmer. I would have been dead. And I caught you. I remember catching you and looking. I'm like, where is Larry? And Larry was talking to Woody, the security guard. He wasn't even paying attention to spotting. Thank God it was Lisa Faye that I caught.
I was so grateful.
I know. Tota, you caught me too. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because everyone was waiting for me to fail with my, boss clown husband.
So I have a pair of 5-footers if anybody wants to come try them.
You have what?
I have a pair of 5-foot aluminums if anybody wants to come play.
Oh yeah, we have some too.
Hey, Adam got that picture of Rossman in the globe.
Would you guys leave the globe thing alone already?
So when we started the gold unit, they got everyone together and they said, okay, who here has
Actually,
medical
he's gonna give me a hard
experience?
time. He's put me up a couple of times. All right, I'll put it down.
There you go.
Go ahead, Brian.
They said, who here has medical experience? Easy says, well, I did some work in the military, and I says, well, I'm an athletic trainer in school at UIC, and they say, okay, you guys are our doctors. We have a vet for the animals, but you guys are our doctors. If anybody gets hurt, we want Wiz and Easy. You guys, we're coming to you. And we had seen a couple people through the door. It's very, very, not very reassuring that we were the medical crew when that happened.
You're the first responders.
The doctors in Japan, if you go to a doctor's hospital, it's kind of scary.
Well, one time I think it was Bill hurt his ankle, and I ended up taping him up as I would any athlete. And then we sent him to the doctor after the show, and they said, who taped your ankle? And he says, well, you know, one of the clowns on the show. I says, well, go back to him. Go to him. He'll take care of you.
Oh, wow.
I remember Perrin Boyd fell off. I remember watching. She missed the trapeze and landed right on her head and neck. That scared the crap out of me. And she got up and she couldn't breathe, and she ended up being fine. But oh man, that was for those of you who did that gag, hats off.
Nobody from your class got hurt enough to leave, did they?
I tore my rotator cuff in the trapeze.
Oh wow!
Because I came down after 5 weeks. So Tammy Parrish was your first 5 weeks. I was the second. Did I miss anybody? Did anybody have to leave due to an injury?
No, Paul DeBane got hurt on the road, and he left the road in winter quarters. But we were already in winter quarters. But he got hurt enough where he went home. He only lasted 3 weeks. But no one, I don't think anyone found college.
Because that's what he got hurt at the Gold Show too.
I busted
Did he
up
really?
my
He got
ankle.
hurt?
I busted up my ankle like a week before graduation.
I remember
I dropped you.
No, what I remember was, I'll never forget this. My only memory of Eric Dodd was, I will never forget this image, is that we were doing the graduation big dance, and he ran into a different spot because I saw him run into a different spot, and Bill Fortune had to stop because Eric ran in front of him, and I already jumped down off of the platform, and I landed on Bill's leg, and my ankle just rolled. And I'll never forget, like I landed on Bill, but it was clearly Eric Dodd's fault.
Oh yeah,
Eric Dodd
did that
never
to me
even knew
too.
that.
But Eric Dodd kept hurting my ankle. We were doing the pyramid, and he would always come off the top. Move away from Bob's ankle. Boom. Get it every single time.
Darren Cooper, you only have one memory of Eric Dodd, right? As a roommate, just one?
A long 2.5 months of Eric Dodd.
Oh,
He used to do a 108 over a ham bone that he pulled out of a picnic basket, and he forgot to put the ham bone in the picnic basket.
There you go.
He pulled out a taco, and I got to do a 108 over a taco.
That's actually comedy gold.
I just remember there was a perfect face print of Eric Dodd on the ring rubber.
Yes.
Because what happened was during the free time, there was that seesaw, teeter-totter, and he decided to take the bike and go up the teeter-totter, and when it went down, he went over the handlebars and right into the rubber.
And it was there for his perfect face print of him.
I just remember Eric Dodd by the pool on Sundays listening to Where Are the Clowns? Over and over and over.
That's right.
That's true. My one big memory of that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
I just remember somebody like Hillbilly being drunk on Sundays.
I think Clown College was the first time I saw Rocky Horror Picture Show. Who went?
What's wrong with that?
With me.
We all went to see Roger Rabbit too.
Me and Sarah.
I remember.
Billy.
I have a great memory of Aaron Tucker, which you probably only remember, Mr. Tucker.
Well,
in it wasn't Clown College memory; it was a road memory. We were in New Orleans, and we sat outside of Tipitina's, listened to the Radiators on the grass strip out in front. It was one of the best concerts I've ever gone to.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I remember that was my first time in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I went there.
But you had told me about the Radiators. You said they're the house band. I was like, oh yeah, I think I heard of them. And oh man, it was just rocking.
Wow. I felt so lucky we were near Tipitina's.
Yeah, the train was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tipitina's on Chapachula.
That's right.
We had the chance to. We had Joe Strange was like the oldest clown in our alley, and he was in love with the hula hoop girl Marie Perry.
He was.
And he asked me and Aaron and Soup Bone to do a dinner theater for him on the flat bars one night.
Yes, indeed.
And Aaron sat out there and played romantic guitar music. I was the waiter, and Soup Bone cooked the lamb chops. And then we performed a one-act play called Lone Star.
Yep,
That's
it was
right.
directed by Eric Michael Gillette.
Yep.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
And then when Marie Perry gave us a 6-pack of Lone Star beer as a reward, I drank it all.
Remember our first night in the Gold Unit in Japan? We found that sex doll and we kept it up and down on the elevators.
I had no part in
that.
that.
Easy?
No, it wasn't me.
Well, no, I didn't say it was you, but I don't know whatever happened to that
Who's
doll.
saying that?
That's Santa Claus.
Oh, Bob?
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Bob and I are both growing beards for an investment in our future.
Wow.
Bill, I remember you
That
trying
you
to.
also lost wisdom teeth.
What?
Bill, I remember you
That you
trying
lost
to
wisdom.
do. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
What was that, Beth?
We had juggling rings. And
Oh,
you did
yes.
a contortion thing and got yourself through it, right? You got your
Yeah.
way all the way through it.
Yep.
And I went and tried, and I got stuck, and it took like 3 people to get me out of that ring.
Somewhere in storage, I have a photo of the two of us in stuck in the juggling rings.
I was laughing so hard. I was so stuck. Oh, I was so stuck.
Man, that was so. It's funny when someone was talking about standing on Soup Bone's shoulders. We did a gag where it was called the Grow Clown, and Sarah was in it. And when Bill Fortune was out, I was the bottom man on the gag, so she was standing on my shoulders. And one show she was out, and he said, "Yeah, sure, I can hold you." So I replaced her on top of his shoulders, and I weighed like 215, I guess. And it was so funny. He was doing great until we were about 5 feet from the back curtain, and I could hear him. He's just struggling and trying to hold on to it. And like, sure, I can do this, no problem.
Is that the Grow Box gag that with Randy Brake and Dave Dodera did?
No,
Yes.
it's not. You weren't there.
This was a different Grow gag.
No, it's the same
from our
gag.
class.
Same gag.
Yeah, same one.
Same guy.
Next year.
I want to make sure I had the right visualization.
Do y'all remember when King Tusk lost it? We thought we had Steve Kebab.
Yep.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So
Thought Steve was going to get it that day.
I wrote a one-man show, and that whole incident is in there because I didn't wear my glasses and I didn't have contacts because I was allergic to the animal dander, and I had no idea that Tusk was rampaging, and I'm doing the choreography, and I'm like, where is everybody? And
Bogey was like, you didn't care that we were married anymore. You were out of there. You just left me there.
I was standing there on the ring curb going, is this what elephants do?
Hey, Bill.
Something was wrong.
My daughter came to see you when you were in New York, and she was like embarrassed to come and talk to you. I was like, oh,
come on. It was a small audience, but it was very enthusiastic.
Yeah, she loved it.
Well, I'm glad she made it.
What were you doing in New York?
I did my one-man show for the United Solo Theater Festival. So I'd written a solo show based on my memoir, which I wrote, and then worked with a director to turn it into a clown existential experience show. And it finishes. It's basically the existential crisis of who am I, why am I here, and what the heck am I doing? which culminates with me, my first experiences of being able to see for the first time with glasses till I staged my own clown funeral.
When did you do that?
2018 was the last performance I did of that show. I still want to do it some more, but the divorce kind of whipped my butt and didn't leave me wanting to do much of anything for a while. And I'm now ready to take it to pick it back up and rewrite some of the stuff for it.
Okay.
You brought that to Philly in what, 5 years ago?
Yeah, 2016 at the circus school.
At the school, yeah, that was fun. We laughed, we cried. It was a good time.
Eric, how are you holding up physically? If you're still doing a lot of aerial stuff, how are you? How's your health? Your shoulders, your knees?
You know.
He's young. He's lucky.
I had a crazy thing like a year and a half ago. I had a serious rotator cuff injury, and it got to a point where every single show we did, there were 5-6 times in every 45-minute show where I'm like, my inner dialogue was like, something's coming up, it's gonna fucking hurt like hell, and there's 300 people looking at me, so I gotta grin and bear it, and it got so bad. I mean, I couldn't raise my arm higher than my shoulder, and
how could you use it to raise it?
My body's actually kind of enjoying this break. Like I feel better. Like my knees feel a little better.
I've been appreciating that too. Yeah, for sure.
It's been kind of nice. And that part of me is like, I don't want to get started again. Like, I kind of like, this is kind of nice. This little staycation at home.
Yeah.
It's been hard. You got to remember to keep stretching every morning because I'm seizing up. If I don't do it, I start to feel it.
That too. I've definitely put some weight sitting so much.
Yeah.
I admire
everyone. It was great to see you.
See you, Lisa.
Ice. Definitely ice cream.
6 years ago, I stopped performing full time because I broke my back and I couldn't walk, like no feeling in my legs. And I had a great doctor who put me back together. So it's kind of a miracle that I'm, teaching dance and walking, but I'm not getting on stilts again like that.
Yeah, screw that.
Is that how you did it? You stilt accident?
No, I fell down the stairs in our old house, and I was having vertigo problems. So I fell down the stairs and my back hit all the way down the stairs. And my son had just gotten his learner's permit, so he took me to the hospital. And the doctor said, "Oh, you must have really hit it to fracture the vertebrae this way," and it slid into my spinal cord. And I said, "Oh, no." And he was like, "Mom, you just fell down the stairs." Like, I didn't even remember it. So it was a big thing. And
that's so scary.
Yeah, but now I'm walking around and teaching kids. So
that's great.
Amazing.
Where are you based?
Okay.
We live near Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I had no idea. I used to drive through there all the time, going to my gigs in New York.
We have a big old house if anyone ever is driving through, and now the kids are out of here. But we still have the Calliope and the Model A and the Tin Lizzie all in the garage.
Give Bogey a big old kiss on the lips from me.
I will do that. He's sleeping.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me. Sorry.
Stuff in the garage. Hey, one time I was working
you bring up a really good point. This is a great time to recover from a lot of injuries. It's also a great time to get focused on appropriate exercises if you don't know what they are. We get together every 2 months with a balloon twisting group. There's about 40 of us in there, and we always have someone speak on some balloon twisting. And I've spoken a couple times on 10 minutes of exercises for shoulder rehab, scapular strengthening, etc. And now is really the perfect time to look into those things to prolong what your crafts are. And if I can help in any way, please, contact me. Let me know. I'm happy to throw some things out your way.
Where were you 6 years ago? No,
I'm working with other people here in Chicago. Come on by.
Anybody out there still doing 108s?
Nope. Ranger.
I showed someone a 108 about 3 months ago.
The last one I actually did was on my 50th birthday, 3 years ago.
In Australia?
I would do it again though, but that was the last one I did.
I did one. I did some a couple of months ago. Yeah, I was in a show at a local community arts center. Yeah, I put together a new routine. Professor Kakawate's 5-minute circus, and yeah, during the acrobatic portion, I threw a 108. Felt good. Still, yeah.
Most of my clients don't have enough money for that.
Ranger, I always remember you on the blues show where you would, during come-in, you'd go out and you'd be wearing like hockey pads underneath your clown costume.
Yep, me and Conklin bought hockey pads for this blow-off that we would do because we wanted to just beat the crowd. And yeah, I still have them.
Abuse and slam your body like no one's business, and it just amazed me.
After all these years, where does Dagwood still fit in your? Do you still like looking back on that? How does those movies hold up?
Oh, I still like them. I haven't seen one in a long time, but that's my dream role.
That was your thing. Like that was your.
I don't know. It was Aaron Tucker that started calling me that, and
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, blame Aaron.
Yeah, you said, yeah, you're Dagwood Bumstead. Yeah, because, I like sandwiches and, I had the build and everything. But I just never found my blondie, I guess. But
it's funny because it was Tom Williams that first called me Hillbilly.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
What? And he's the reason why I got that nickname.
No kidding.
We were hanging out one night on the beach, sharing, I think it was a bottle of Jack Daniels. And
you
looked at me, you sound like those Beverly Hillbilly people. I'm going to start calling you Hillbilly. And I swear to God, by the end of the next day, everyone at Clown College was calling me that. And it was all because Tom started that.
I'm so sorry, Billy. I apologize.
Is Phil Briggs still on here?
Yeah.
Phil.
Me.
Where is he?
What's
up,
I'm
Phil?
over here somewhere.
Oh my gosh, how are you?
I'm fine.
How old were you when we were in Clown College? So you and Granger were our neighbors.
Yeah, we both got out of Duke. I guess I was 23, 24, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know everyone did, but that was a fun little corner we had.
Yeah, we had a good time. Hey, my son has been in Chicago in college. I need to have him reach out to everybody who's there in Chicago and say, hey, but he's back here now, of course. So
where's he at? What's he doing?
At Columbia College.
Oh my gosh, good for him.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Nice.
It's good. He's learning to do music business. Yeah. So he's doing great, but I'll make sure he has your guys' information.
Yeah, we can definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good school, by the way. Congrats on him.
He's having a good time.
My favorite memories of Bud and Granger's room was playing Risk with them until 4 in the morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And listening to Tom Waits.
That's right. Yep. Absolutely. But now I'm right next to Irkutsk on the Russian peninsula there, and I remember that we had
from your house.
That's right. And we changed the name to Throw Up in Your Shortsville.
Yes. And there was Sugar Cubes Land.
Cubes Land.
What else was on there? I can't remember, but that was great. Aaron, I remember too your artistic what was it? Interpretive dives into the pool.
Oh my God!
You used to do. You would get everybody's attention, and I will now imitate wet bread hitting the water.
Wait, I think we're losing Lauren. Goodbye, Lauren. It's great seeing you.
Bye, Lauren.
You guys, I'm going to head out too. I actually have to be at work in the morning. So love
See
you
you,
guys.
Lauren. See you,
Thanks
Beth.
so much.
See you guys.
I have to teach too.
Give Brad a big old kiss
Step
on the
Barbara.
lips.
Do. Happy to.
See you guys. You all look amazing.
Yeah.
I have nowhere better to be. I just don't want to be here.
All right.
Everybody, my wife is in Canada in quarantine for 2 weeks before she can go visit with her parents, and she just gave me a call, so I have to go and call my wife and chat with her. Thank you very much for joining me.
Wait, easy. Are you buying that story?
If I was your wife, I would probably say the same
trust
thing.
this one. This one's a good one. He's a clown. Hey, I just want to tell you one quick story before I go. I was working the LA County Fair, and I was going up the area and going past the rent a wheelchair spot, and this guy stops me and goes, "Hey, you're a good-looking clown. You know, you could be a Ringling clown. Did you ever think about going to clown college?" And I said, "Who are you?" "Oh, my name's Matt Croak." That's the only time I've ever seen him since we graduated from clown college.
Yeah, my buddy in Park
You didn't
Ridge.
recognize him?
No, I did. I was messing with him.
I didn't recognize him. He
didn't recognize me. I knew he didn't recognize me because I was a buddy of mine for 2 years. I helped him in the summer. He does a stroller wheelchair business at state fairs. So we'd have to drive from Chicago out to Sacramento, LA, San Diego, all that. So I did that for 2 summers, and I saw Easy out in LA.
That's
funny. Before you go, Easy.
What?
Before you go, Easy, one of the things that I remember, I don't know, you had a car, right, at Clown College?
Yes.
So I remember one lunch break, I got wet, or so it was raining out, and I went back to the villas, and I did something, and then I missed the bus. There was, the bus went back for lunch every day. I missed the bus, and I didn't, and then I saw Easy getting into his car, and he's like, "Hey, you need a ride?" And I said, "Yeah." So I get in the ride, and he's, it's like lunch break, so we've all done makeup for the day, and his makeup is all cracked. And he goes, Easy looks in the mirror, and he goes, and you had a girlfriend at Clown College, right?
Yes.
Easy looks in the mirror, and he goes, "Is my makeup messed up? I just got done fucking." I'm like soaking wet. I'm like, wait a second, you're going back to the villas and fucking somebody on our lunch break in your makeup? And then after that, I just hated Easy's guts for the rest of the night.
That's a good one to leave on. See you guys later.
Take care, Easy.
Hey, Easy.
Your butt again.
On that note.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, just for fun.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes. Yeah, no problem.
Matt.
Hey,
Thank
Easy,
you
before
so
you
much.
go.
What, Adam?
Before you go, I gotta throw you under the bus too. Because you were buying a car when we were on the road, and you said, "Oh, it's just one town over," and we drove to get this car for what seemed like ever. The transaction wasn't as smooth as you had said it was going to be, with the handover of cash and the title and all that stuff. We drove back and we came in, and the whistle for come in was being blown as we came through the door.
Oh, I think you're close, because I remember Chris Hewdert holding that whistle, watching us slap it on. He had that whistle in his mouth, but I'd never done my face in 4 minutes before.
I did.
Apparently you did at lunch.
All right, Adam, I'm quickly going to show these pictures. I love these pictures.
Oh, they're awesome.
All right, these are so cool.
Nice.
I saw those, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at her.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Those are
Thanks.
wild.
Oh,
All right. We could talk about something else.
speaking of late for come-in stories, Pat, you remember when we got the windshield fixed on the hearse in Detroit, and we barely made it back in time? You, me, and Chris Wilson.
No. Wait, in Detroit? Yeah, I
No,
don't
it was
know.
Detroit, because we bought the hearse in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, yeah.
Yes.
Windshield.
Yes, that's right.
It had the smashed.
I think I was late all the time. I don't.
I'll concur.
I was always doing some other fucking bullshit that had nothing to do with the circus. But then all of a sudden I'd be like, "Oh fuck, I got to put my makeup on and do my job." And none of it was like important, anything more important. It was just I was a fucking 18-year-old kid, just easily distracted.
How many people here were on the Clyde? Was it the Clyde Beatty show? Is that what it was?
Yeah, Clyde Beatty Cole Brothers.
How was that experience? There are a few of you on that, right?
I guess Tom Williams said he never performed again after it.
I did not. Maybe.
Maybe not that good.
Tom did a couple local gigs afterwards with me.
That's true. I did.
Was it the management, or what was that? What was it like?
No, it was an awesome experience. I loved it, and I mean, every show has its pros and its cons, but we had so much freedom there. We could change the gag anytime we wanted. We could do whatever we wanted, and we had fun with it.
Yeah, the art class, we had the three of us and Greg Long on the same show, which was really cool.
Well, I mean, that's the same in Ringling. I change the gag every day.
Well, Mike, you did tell the story about the pie with Ahmed.
Oh yeah, we
decided to just screw around.
I'll tell you that in a second. But on the when we got there, Jimmy James said, "You two in this ring 1, you two in ring 3. Here are your props. Write a gag, and we don't care what the gag is as long as it ends at the same time." And when they said we don't care what it is, it didn't mean it didn't have to be good. It just meant that they weren't gonna put their thumb on it, And then we had a lot of fun. And every 3 days we were in a new town, and we got paid a little better than I think you guys did, but we also, didn't get to live in the train, but, I drove a tractor trailer for 3,000 miles and I didn't have a driver's license.
But that's true. No, that's true.
Wow. So, yeah. So, we would clean we had a bucket with, they'd fill our bucket with water outside the Clown Alley. And sometimes there was 6-8 inches of water in the Clown Alley, and sometimes we played beautiful lots. We lived outside in the public. People could walk through anytime they wanted.
Yeah. Sometimes there's ice in the bucket.
Yeah.
And I love cities. I loved exploring cities. So, and I loved. Yeah. I would have liked to have been in a big alley with lots of people to do stuff with. We were small. There was 8 of us. We had James Hauser from 86. It was in our center alley.
86.
And then 3 non-Ringling clowns. And Jimmy James he was a ringmaster. He used to be clown on the show, and he was just one of the greatest people I ever met. And his picture's up there on my, my favorite people wall.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and Elmo Gibb was our producing clown. So he was Clown College in, I think, 74, something like that, 76. But we only saw him like once every other month. And now he works for me as one of my circus camp coaches.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Balls, he does not.
Yeah.
He's good.
Oh, my God.
So
strange.
I just started talking because, I'm passionate about all of it. I didn't mean to cut Tom off, or Joe, if you're still here. Yeah, Joe's still here.
No. Go ahead and talk. You remember all the stories I don't.
You and Tom were doing you decided to play a game and do a pie chase gag. And you ran around as they were setting the show with Ahmed, one of the working guys, was one of the Tangier troupe, but also worked as a prop guy, the prop manager.
Very large, burly Moroccan.
You decided to pie him in the face without letting him know beforehand.
Yes, bad choice. Right during the show. So that was a lot of fun to watch from off sides because we were all like, "There's no way they're going to do it. There's no way they're going to do it." And then Mike stood there with the pie. Tom ducked, and he went right into Ahmed's face.
Oh dear!
They finished their gag, ran out of the tent, and now we're all in the alley just hanging out. And Ahmed came around, he was pissed. He wasn't pissed, but he acted like he was, and Mike and Tom just took off running.
Well, he had a machete in his hand. That was like,
large
stopped and started laughing.
I never saw the machete, but I saw everybody's eyes.
Oh yeah.
And
that was the day they were looking out for us because it was like July 4th, I think, and they were doing a big barbecue, and they uninvited the clowns after that.
It's true. There was a machete. And you've been uninvited from a Moroccan barbecue? That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Really cool.
But it was a lot of fun to watch.
Hey, I gotta fly everybody because I got a 1.5-year-old who wakes up stupid early whether I stay up late or not. But I gotta share a quick story because somebody said earlier about 50th birthday. and it reminded me. Mine was last June, and we had a great moment here. I live on the campus of the Philadelphia School of Circus Arts, and so there's a lot of circus people around, but most of them don't have this background. And at one point in my party, Mary Kelly Rayel, I don't know what year she was, I think 94, 95 maybe?
No, because she taught at circus camp with me in Timber Ridge in 91, and she was fresh out of clown college then.
She was fresh out. Okay, wait, that's right. Because she
that was her first.
right.
We put her off the flying trapeze for the first time.
Right, because she auditioned in '88 when we were on the road. That's right. Anyway, she taps my shoulder and gets me to look this way, and then just like nods, like look over your shoulder that way. And I look over, and Andrew Scharf pies me in the face. And man, it was the best birthday present I've ever had. I just started laughing, and my wife was like, "What the hell? What the hell just happened? Why are you laughing? Why?"
Well, this is not a comment. This is not a comment on Eric's wife's age. She's a lovely person. But now I know with my circus camps is that if we're doing Pie in the Face, we have to show them videos of what it is. They don't even know what Pie in the Face is.
They have no idea.
They don't.
Nobody knew, except for me, Andrew, and Mary Kelly. Like nobody had that context. It was just like.
Well, it's a secret society.
Hey, Bill, one of my campers is coming to Smirkus if you guys can do it this summer, and she's awesome.
Well, last summer was my first summer as the director of the circus camp, and for each session there's a pie day. And my first year, I was assessing how everything runs. I was not making any changes. Their pie day is coordinated by the activities director, who has no idea about the history of pie and all that stuff and clown, that whole thing. Yeah. So should we have camp this summer, there will be some changes, and there will in passing on the tradition of what it is to do the pie day.
I taught up there for 2 weeks when my kids went a couple years ago, and their pie day, I was just like, I was speechless. I couldn't believe what they were doing. It was just not pie day.
No.
It was, but I kept my mouth shut. But I'd love to see you. There's definitely some room for improvement there.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Aaron, I still got a picture of you and I on Pie Day.
That's right. We were partners.
That's right. Somebody pulled that up the other day, and I was looking back and, oh my God, he had hair and I was skinny. What the hell happened?
A long time ago.
Right.
I'm growing it out again after 30 years of shaving.
Oh, yeah.
Now using the opportunity because I think it'll be funny and awful looking if I grow it out.
You got that
pointy-haired boss comes to mind.
You got that Edgar Kennedy look.
I'm working on it. We'll see what happens. I don't know if any of you know Drew Richardson.
I know Drew.
Oh yeah.
He's my inspiration for that. And,
well, Drew's he's going to be unemployed when his hair finally goes.
He'll be fine. He'll be just fine. I met Drew at Motion Fest.
Did you?
It was the first time I met him. And I remember watching videos at night after classes with him and just falling apart crying at Motion Fest and just crying with joy and feeling this camaraderie at the Motion Fest.
Granger, you need to get in touch with Drew. He made his own silent films for years.
Oh yeah.
Really good stuff, and he was actually showing them in regular movie theaters as like a prequel to the movie.
Oh, cool!
And really good stuff. Now he's a professor of theater in Allentown at one of the colleges up there.
Holler at me later and let me know how I might get in touch with him. I was going to ask you too, Mike. How's the project on the play about the cross-dressing wire?
I've kind of stopped. I've kind of given up, and actually I was hanging out, having a meeting with the woman who I was going to just pay her to keep looking for it. And Eric, do you know anything So here's the deal, and anybody else can listen, and I'll keep this quick because nobody else really cares. But I saw one night at like 2 a.m. I was scrolling Facebook at like 30 miles an hour, like I normally do, and I read some article about some professor in Texas who wrote a one-man play about a wire walker from like the turn of the century, and it was a guy who performed as a woman on the wire, and I want to, and he only ran the play, he only put the play up for like 1 weekend, and then he put it away, and he's done with it, and I want to get a copy of this play. And do you know anything about any of this? The performer was Bertie Beeson, or somebody like that. I forgot the name now.
Beeson was, yeah.
Yeah, but like we cannot find this play. And I've actually, one night I just started randomly messaging emails to colleges in Texas, trying to find the drama department that might know about this. That's how desperate I am to find this.
All right. Sounds like a joke.
We'll talk later.
Hey, Phil, is this us? Me and you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's us. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Look at that bet. Remember that
That
tense?
was great.
All right, I love you guys. I gotta go to bed.
See you, Adam. Be safe. All right, I'll call it at 11. So I'll keep it open for 5 more minutes, and then I got to call it. So 5 minutes. Jam it all in.
Eric, Bob,
Adam.
Rosalind, I know you.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Have a good night.
Love you too.
Thanks
You
for
too.
doing the bet.
See you, Adam.
See you,
See you,
boys.
Adam.
This has been great. Hope we can do it again. Matt,
Thank you so much.
fantastic job.
Yeah, now that we kind of caught up too, the next time we can keep it just more casual like this, you know.
That's true.
I just want to kind of get everyone.
Thank you for inviting me, young Matt Croak.
No problem, Toto. You're as much as Clown College as any of us.
Great.
I thought maybe, I didn't know if you got a hold of Tammy or anybody else, but
Greg said he was going to try to go. Tammy did not respond, and then I think Mike, I don't know if you got a hold of Dick Monday, but we tried a couple people.
No, Dick was all in, and then I forgot to send him the link until like 10 minutes before meeting time.
and you guys, your juggling instructor, Michael Kramer or Michael Bruno or whatever he goes by now, he went to Clown College with me, but I don't think I've talked to him since I saw him, you know, at your class. So
he still owes me $5.
And the lady who taught mime ended up teaching at DePaul Theater School, and I saw her.
Yeah, Karen Sheridan. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her when I was at DePaul. I was only there like 8 weeks.
How's Karen?
How is she?
Karen? Yeah.
Oh, that was like the year after Clown College. I went from Clown College to DePaul Theater School for like one trimester, and then I
bumped into Howard Kaplan at some opera that I performed in, and he gave me the costume. I still wear it for other gigs now.
Oh wow!
It was really cool costume.
Sweet.
Well, most of the good-looking people have already quit.